The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
It is savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals that can save you thousands. Visit standardheating.com for all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93.
Okay, turn it on.
It's Friday.
It's the weekend. Hooray.
Actually, a 3-day weekend.
It's Labor Day weekend.
It's the last weekend of summer.
Happy Labor Day!
Oh, what a perfect day.
Sweetie,
Yeah, honey?
the horse you're on has a huge penis.
I'd like to get off now. I'm not having any fun.
Sound familiar? It's a beautiful fall day and you're riding with a loved one when all of a sudden you're made to feel less of a man. You can't compete with these horse hogs.
And now you don't need to. Here at Fenton Stables and Horse Ranch, we guarantee our horses have a smaller penis than a human man.
Fenton Stables and Horse Ranch, where the horses are hung like you.
Is that all I mean? That hung like a horse?
I guess.
But yours is bigger than that.
Is it? Huh. Bigger than a horse's. I like the sound of that. Thanks, Fenton's.
Fenton Stables and Horse Ranch, where you're the one that's hung.
Ladies and gentlemen, the weekend.
Cubby, as I'm air drumming over here, look at how high my ride cymbal is.
You know, that's funny. I was wondering if that was a gong or what you had all the way up there.
Some
or
drummers,
like a China, they'll put the China cymbal up
China
there.
cymbal usually is a little higher, but you ever seen those drummers? Some of them like they like their ride cymbal to be at about waist level down here. You follow? But some of them, especially back in the day, they'd put them way the hell out. Were they showing off their lats or what were they doing with the? Why is the ride cymbal?
So I can tell you a little bit about that.
It's way up by the ceiling, you know.
My buddy Mucho Grande, one of the best drummers I've ever met my entire life. You know him.
I do know the man.
He when he used to play in rock bands and stuff, he'd put all his cymbal, not the hi-hat, but all his cymbals up high, so it was just dramatic, right?
Yeah.
So you're watching basically Animal back there.
Yeah.
And he would hit his drums harder than anyone's ever hit a drum. But yeah, anytime there was a ride, crash, whatever, he's way up top.
A lot of reaching made him look busier than he really was.
Yeah, just looked cool.
I understand the approach there. All right. Man, I'm spreading huge F-off vibes far and wide today, Cubby. Let it be known, today doesn't count for squat.
It's kind of tired in here this morning.
I'm declaring an F-off day because of that. I saw it in your eyes right away. I saw you're a little sleepy, and I said, this is it. We're calling it an F-off day, and we welcome you to the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show.
It feels a little off. If you're trying to text, I apologize. Something's going on with our little text deal. We're getting a 500 level error, which sounds bad. That
sounds very bad.
Pretty high up there. When we log in, it says 500 level error. I don't know if we've ever gotten that high as far as error messages go. So,
you're telling me that our text machine is down.
It's down.
Oh, well, that's a shame, because I like to go back and forth with most of our listening audience. Most of them.
Maybe it just came back.
Huh?
Wow, this is dramatic.
This is a roller coaster of emotions to start the show.
Later on, our new friend, Dr. Andrea Johnston from Gurman Animal Hospital in Minnetonka will be dropping by, so we can have some fun talking about everything that's wrong with your house pets. I've really enjoyed our first couple of visits with Dr. Andrea. We encourage you to text in if your dog or cat has something going on, and she can try to help you out.
She's been a great fit, hasn't she?
She has been.
Yep.
Behavioral issues, sure, but mainly, does your dog have a lump, or is it spraying out the back? What's your dog or cat doing? She can help you out with your pet problems a little bit later on.
Got an update to our story, text machine not working. But yeah, I do want to ask her. I'll probably save it for off air because we never have enough time for some of our guests. I think my brother and sister-in-law are making up an issue with their dog so they don't have to spend time with us on Saturday night. We have some plans.
You got to have a certain amount of appreciation for someone who's trying to get out of social plans.
Yeah, most people, I'm like, yes, that's awesome. I don't break plans, but I don't mind when people break them with me. It never bothers me whatsoever.
Right.
But I was a little suspicious with this one, just a little bit.
Why don't you call him out on it?
Well, I'll ask. I'm going to ask him. I just found out yesterday.
Let's get your brother on the phone right now.
I think he's at work right now.
What's sneaky about it to you? So you have family plans of some sort Saturday night, but now your brother and his wife are backing out.
Yep.
And they say there's something wrong with the dog. You're not buying it.
Well, so they say, like, the dog had surgery, I don't know, a while ago. And they're like, we're just not comfortable leaving her alone that long. Like, well, wait a minute here. We're talking like, what, an hour and a half at dinner? That's too long?
Huh. Well, yeah, that sounds...
And it takes both of you. Just his wife could come. I don't need him to be there. I grew up with the kid. Why do they both have to be home?
That does sound a little shady.
Yeah, my dog had surgery 3-4 years ago, and I'm just not comfortable leaving her alone for that hour and a half.
Yeah, dogs do come in handy like that sometimes.
We go to Dino's or wherever we're going.
Listen in for Dr. Andrea around 8:15 this morning, and if you want to go ahead and ask your pet question right now at 651-989-9393, feel free, but we'll holler at you a little bit later.
Well, we're not going to get it right now, unfortunately. But hopefully they'd still show up whenever this starts to work again.
Oh, I forgot. You're saying I forgot about the text thing. Whatever. Send it in. Maybe it'll work. I don't care. I really don't care.
You don't?
No.
Well, I know some people are like, hey, how come you didn't get back? Or what? Read my text. That's why it's not working.
They need to stop being so sensitive. We'll jaw jack a little bit with the stupid Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder at 7:30. But we're effing off today. When the show is over at 9 a.m., we're going to go to the Minnesota State Fairgrounds as a family. If you can stop by, great. We'll be there at 10 or as close to 10 as we can get. Feel free to swing on by, make a quick comment if you like, buy something from the merchandise tent, and then get lost.
That phrase is sweeping the nation. And by nation, I mean Dana's group of friends. Dana sent me a couple of clips of, well, maybe you should set this up better. You know better than me, Dana.
Yeah, it's a good buddy of mine who's listened to the show for years. He's bringing the family to the fair today, and they want to come stop by and say hi to us. So he taught, this is Girl Dad Jesus, by the way, and he taught his daughters Sophie and Sloan the phrase that Nick came up with for the fair when you stop by the booth.
Buy something or get out?
Yeah.
Or buy something and get out?
Yep.
And so he had them record the phrase.
Two little kids.
Yeah, two little kids. So here's one. And then here's the other one.
Oh, cute.
The second kid is obviously much smarter than the first.
A little bit older than the other one.
Buy something and get out?
Yeah, we should play that on our phones if somebody's standing around a little too long.
That is no doubt our state fair slogan.
Yeah, then he said then they continued to repeat it for the rest of the night after that. So,
oh, that's just adorable.
Yeah, it's better than other times where usually like a dad will come up and say, hey, thank you guys for saying this. My kid won't stop saying whatever terrible thing it is.
Yeah. At least that's a wholesome message to it. It's not wholesome, but you know what I mean. It's not inappropriate.
Josh, you've got a son, more importantly, my godson.
Oh, dude, you're right.
Right.
Yeah.
Am I right about that?
No, you're right.
Yeah,
I forgot.
You still have this.
I was just trying to think. That's got to be great, having a couple of kids. You get to hang out with them and stuff. I've got some of those.
You're still the owner of that youngest one.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you, I know I'm asking the wrong guy, but I don't know. Maybe you had a wild weekend. You ever, when the kid was younger, because now he's nearly grown, what, 12?
12,
yeah. Yeah, he's getting there. When he was little, did you ever teach him to say something that a kid shouldn't say just for shock value when relatives came over?
Now, I haven't, but he has older siblings, right? And his brother was 12, almost 13, I think, when my youngest was born.
Okay.
So he certainly liked to do that when my son was maybe 2, 3, start talk. He knew the F word and giving the middle finger and stuff like that.
So, and my son, again, more importantly, your son, my godson, he would walk up to you and his mother and punch out a cute line.
Oppenheimer, yeah.
Oh, he'd dump an F word on you.
Yeah.
And then you found out that the older kid was teaching him these things.
I had a feeling.
See, that's hilarious to me. It really is. One of my favorite stories on that level. Josh remembers one of our old promotions directors, Doug Ski.
I miss Doug.
Dougie Nelsonowski. He had a good buddy, guy named Keith. You ever party with Keith?
A couple times. Keith was like a thing. He was kind of a celebrity around here before I ever met him. Everyone talked about Keith.
Dude, that dude was buck wild at
Heck
times.
yeah.
I love partying.
So many people would talk about Keith.
I like to party with Doug and Keith. Okay. Keith had a couple little kids, and our promotions guy, Dougie, he lived in the same neighborhood as Keith many years ago. So they became friends. Okay. Keith had a couple little kids. And it comes time for, and Keith and Doug like to bust each other's balls back and forth. It comes time for that Halloween, right? So Keith is going to be sending his little kids over to Doug's place to do some trick-or-treating. These are tiny little kids. And to play a prank on Doug, Keith taught his kids to say something inappropriate. So here comes Halloween. Ding dong, the doorbell rings. Doug pulls open his door. There's Keith's two little kids in their stupid Halloween costumes. And when Doug opens the door, the older kid says, "Trick or treat, bag." Bag.
That's funny.
That's awesome. Everybody was a bag to Keith. And so he spread that tradition onto his kids.
Yeah, if my son, less importantly, your godson, if he were ever to say a bad word, it either came from his brother or his mother. My wife has a very, very foul mouth.
She has a willing and filthy mouth.
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that order.
Mm-hmm. So back to our trip to the fair this morning once we get done with the program. I'm going to go ahead and scoot myself to the fair from here. I have brought into the studio my electro scooter. So it's on now. Look out, hip, environmentally conscious young people.
You got a new guy.
There's a new yet over-the-hill scooter rider in the mix, and I'm going to take that pig smooth down Como all the way to the fair today. I'm not going to be piling into one of these garbage vehicles we've got out front the building and getting stuck in traffic with the rest of you losers.
No, that's a good idea. I mean, our 5-minute drive last Saturday was 45 minutes, or Friday was 45 minutes. Makes no sense. That sucked.
Insane.
I'm going to go electro scooting over to the fair. You think they'll let me just go straight through the gates and all the way to the broadcast booth with that thing? Are they going to?
Nah, probably not. I did it once, and they were not pleased with me.
Oh, really?
You did what?
I took one of those Lime scooters, you see sitting on the sidewalk.
Oh,
you pick up and rent
you told us this recently.
Yeah, and I limed all the way to took the Lime scooter all the way to the fair, and then I went through the line with it, and the old guy taking the ticket was like, "Are you supposed to have that?" I go, "Yep," and I just scooted past them, and then some other state fair officials tracked me down and were like, "Yeah, you can't do that."
You're a bad boy, is what you are.
Man, look at you. You're hot, man. You're super sexy.
Does that get you going a little bit, Josh?
I did. Yeah, it's a good point. I wonder if they're going to let you in with that thing.
Do you have a bike lock?
Oh,
for
no,
it?
they won't let me in with it. Pardon me, what was the question?
Do you have like a bike lock, scooter lock for it?
Why, you looking to give someone a gift this weekend or something?
I just don't want anybody to take it while you're in the fair.
I don't want that to happen either.
I just pulled up the Lime app. There are some scooters around here. I might scoot as well.
Yeah, if they're still
can
around.
you let me go on one side of the sidewalk and you go on the...
I'll give you a 5 minute
I'm not looking for a partner.
I know you're not, but once I saw your scooter in the studio, and we had talked about this last week a little bit, and it's like, that is a much better idea than, like you said, piling in one of our cars that barely runs and has a cracked windshield. And
I topped that thing out the other day at 117 miles per hour.
You know, I could probably hold on tight and get right behind you on this thing if you don't mind taking me for a ride. What do you think?
Well, I think that'd be cute if you could just hang on to my lower waist as we You're standing behind me.
Yeah.
Your arms are wrapped around my waist.
Exactly.
The two of us on a scooter together going to the state fair.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that sounds cute. I would be honored to have you as my bitch.
And then Nick needs the shirt. If you can read this, the bitch fell off.
He's got that shirt. I bought it for
Wearing
Christmas.
it right now. Yep. What the hell? I had something in mind and I lost it, but whatever. It's an F-off day.
Looks like the text message machine is back up and running, by the way. So.
I can't click on any of them. Can you?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, it's working fully for me now, too.
Oh, I know where I was going with this. None of us went and saw the Motley Crue comedy show last night, did we?
I thought you were going.
No, I passed.
Okay.
None of us went to go see the... I got a text this morning. We got a text this morning that said, "Are we talking about Tommy Lee this morning?" Is that... did something happen last night? Did Tommy flip out?
Yeah,
I guess I read a review. I guess he made, because it was raining, so he made a comment about how Mother Nature brought the wet T-shirt contest. And then, of course, he asked the women to show their boobs. And the reviewer said some of them did, as well as enough men for Tommy to make a joke about it. Because dudes were flashing them as well.
Oh, really?
Well, that's every...
I hate that bit.
I know you do, but I know you had mentioned, does he still do that? Apparently, yes, he's still doing that.
What a friggin'... Jesus Christ, dude, you're in your 60s. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Is that what it was? I mean, yeah, that's his thing.
Yeah.
There's the Tommy Lee boob cam or whatever he used to call it.
Tired bit.
The review that I read wasn't very good. One of the lines said, maybe, just maybe, word has gotten out that lead singer Vince Neil can't sing.
All right. I didn't know if something had gone completely sideways, and that's what inspired the text about Tommy Lee. I don't know. I get aggravated. I do like the guy, or at least I used to, and great drummer.
Awesome.
I just wish the guy could. Again, it's not 1988 anymore. You're not on the Sunset Strip, okay? Probably because the Crew was so near and dear to my heart when I was a kid. I just want better things for them. You know what I'm saying, Josh?
I totally know what you're saying.
So that's why when I hear, what was a couple years ago, it's Tommy Lee put another dong picture on social media. Dude, what? That kind of stuff just kind of upsets me. Just grow up at one point or another.
Yeah,
but
there's times, right, where I've some bands that I really liked as a teenager and a little older. You see them do stuff or say stuff, and you're like a disappointed dad. Like, oh, you guys are so much better than that.
Yeah, right. That's exactly it. No live radio show on Monday. It's Labor Day, bruh. So after today, we won't be seeing you till Tuesday. A recent poll asked people if they were to switch to a 4-day work week, which extra day would they like to take off? You could choose any of the days, Monday through Friday.
Monday.
No love for Friday?
I just think it's easier on a Friday.
What's easier on a Friday?
You're like, all right, I have the weekend. I have a 3-day weekend now.
I'm not sure what you mean.
So, your spirits are higher, I guess.
When you're working on a Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what you're saying is you want to take Monday off because Friday's an F-off day anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
And you're like, yeah, it's Friday.
No, I get it.
a little extra juice in your step.
And then your coworkers are also like, Friday.
It's Friday.
Well, let's think everybody's in a good mood on Fridays. Mm-hmm. That's usually how it goes. As a matter of fact, in this building, aren't Fridays half days for everybody else?
Yes.
Yeah, today is.
I thought every Friday was. And then usually...
It's every Friday?
Yeah, for the salespeople and whatnot.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and
what are you worried about? You're only here for about 3 hours.
That's insane.
What's insane about a half day every Friday?
Well...
but for every holiday, they have a half day.
Don't they just have to come in on Tuesdays and Thursdays, though?
But they're supposed to be working at home. I mean, quote unquote. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
I used to when I used to hang out with one of our sales ladies a lot. Yeah. You were.
You know what I'm talking about.
Very interested in her. And she taught me, by the way, what crop dusting was. I'd never heard the term until she mentioned she did it at Burnsville Center.
The interest was pretty mutual.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make it seem like it was one-sided. I just meant we had different interests in her.
Yes, we did.
But she'd say, hey, do you want to come with me to go prospecting for clients? And then it would just be, she'd leave work. This is back, when you had to be here. Mm-hmm. she'd leave work and we'd just go do whatever we wanted for the day because she'd be, quote, prospecting for new clients.
Yeah. Just driving around town and swinging by Burger King.
Yeah, she's like, I could have got business there if we wanted to, or however it went.
So people were asked if we could do a 4-day work week, which extra day would they take off? The majority of people wanted Friday off.
Well, a buddy of mine, he owns his company, and he takes every Friday off.
Bastard.
And then he barely works Monday through Thursday. Actually, Thursdays, sometimes he'll take a half day and get out of town, run up to his cabin.
Don't want to work too hard.
We're going to get there soon. We're going to go down to, well, when I say we, I mean Josh and I. We're going to go down to a 4-day work week pretty soon. We're not kidding.
What are you guys going to do?
The rest of you are going to have to do something cute on the day that we take off.
Deal.
Yeah, put on a show right now. What it'll be like. Let's hear it.
Let's talk about how Wapple likes Fridays.
Yeah. Let's have Wapple explain again why you'd rather have Monday off than Friday.
No, please.
Or we could explain how I had a Slim Jim today.
He did have a Slim Jim. That kind of threw us a little bit.
That was sweet.
Wow.
There you go. One break. Done.
Mm-hmm.
Nice work.
Boom.
Insomniac Jesus said, hate to put cold water on your pick, but Monday has a ton of holidays, so you're getting less actual days off versus currently. Friday's a better choice.
Okay.
Oh, that's not a bad point.
I'm sorry, Dana.
No, I was just saying, that is a good point, because there are a lot of Mondays. It seems like once a month there's a Monday company holiday.
What about a Wednesday? Anybody?
All right, that was the next popular pick amongst folks selecting which day they want to take off if they had a 4-day work week. Most popular was Friday, then Monday, and then it was Wednesday to give yourself a break in the middle.
Nope.
Mustaine as God, Jesus said, Wednesdays, give that some consideration because you never work more than 2 consecutive days in a row.
Yeah, Wednesday's not an option that jumps out at you right away when you first hear the question, but when you think about it, it does make a little bit of sense.
You would never actually enter full relaxation though. Because you work the next day.
Mm-hmm.
You're still working. I mean, even if you have a 3-day week, you got to get ready for the next day.
I get the cute idea of a break in the middle, but if it's Friday or Monday, it's a 3-day weekend either way, and you can do more with that extra day off. With that Wednesday off in the middle, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
You still got to get ready for Thursday.
Right. So, I mean, okay, it's interesting, but it can't touch Monday or Friday. Mm-hmm. It can't.
Don't you think? So going back to there's more built-in holidays on Mondays. Well, that just means we'll take that week off and come back the following Monday. Doesn't that make more? Or Tuesday. What am I saying?
We'll take Tuesday off now?
Yeah, we'll take the entire week of that Monday holiday off and then come back the following Tuesday.
Jesus.
That seems like that's the only natural thing to do.
Pretty good route to take there as well. There you go. But soon enough, you three in that other room, you're going to have to figure something out because Josh and I will be limiting our work week soon to 4 a week. We've been here for 30 years. Nothing works here. The medications don't work. And I'm tired of this. I'm tired. Josh is tired.
You guys, it's your time.
It's your time to do something.
Pass the torch at some point.
Do friggin' something.
I always thought, certain jobs, police officers come to mind. I've got a lot of those in my family where you have, you're on for 7 and then off for 6, or, whatever it is. You're on for 10 and then off for 7. Those types of schedules. I wonder if that's awesome or what. Or we've mentioned before, you just work 2 20s and then you're done for the week.
My uncle, he's been dead for years. He was a loose cannon. You want to talk about a friggin' wild card? This uncle. He had a lot of interesting ideas. And oh, God, this was when I was a little kid. He was bitching about work. And how did he say it? Yeah, instead of 40 hours a week, he said, I don't see why I can't just work 2 20s.
Yeah.
I said, you'd go nuts. Well, he was already nuts. 2 20s. You think you could gut that out? Oh, man.
No.
I'll always walk with Elias, Jesus said. I've been on 4-day work weeks with Fridays off for years now, and it's amazing. Yeah, like I was saying, I got my buddy. So when you think about it, he's got a 3.5 3.5-day work week.
He's got it figured out.
In the summers, at least.
Oh, you got to just get her done. All right, we ought to get moving. Like I was telling you earlier, around 8:15, 8:20 this morning, we'll welcome veterinarian Dr. Andrea Johnston in studio, and we can talk a little bit about the health of your house pets. It's been fun so far. We'll see what Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder got cooking before that at 7:30. This and that and the other damn thing. And then, speaking of days off, if you can, call the boss here in the next 20 minutes or so. Fake a sickness. Come on out to the fairgrounds and say hello to us sometime after 10 a.m. And like the young people are saying, buy something and get out. We'll have some fun today. Buy something and get out, she said. Isn't that just the cutest effing thing? We'll be right back on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930. Now ran by his granddaughter, Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
It is savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals that can save you thousands. Visit standardheating.com for all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
We're all juggling life, a career, and trying to build a little bit of wealth. The Brown Ambition podcast with host Mandy and Tiffany the Budgetnista can help.
Let's talk about the financials behind locks. It can be quite pricey, but as your hair locks, it needs way less product. When I had my fro, it was way more costly as it relates to products because my fro was thirsty.
It's very expensive. Yeah.
Yes. I need the whole bottle. So
a dime-sized portion of what?
Girl, the laughter.
Brown Ambition.
Wherever you listen.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Let me tell you something about today's Stupid News Report, and this is the way Josh wanted it. Today's Stupid News Report is dripping wet with sex appeal.
Oh, heck yeah.
It's the way he wanted it.
This will turn you on.
Can't wait.
Get ready to touch yourselves because we're turning up the filth to close out the week here. So go ahead. Get those pants down. All the way now. Down around your ankles. Good. Nobody's looking. It's just me and you. Here we go. There's getting it on. And then there's getting it smooth on. And then there's another level where you F so furiously you almost end up drowning to death in your own motor vehicle. A friggin' SUV had to be hauled out of a river near Philadelphia yesterday. Police say 2 people were at a park early yesterday morning, pumping away on each other like it was friggin' prom night. They were in the back seat of this SUV. They call it here a 20+20 Range Rover. And while they were banging or pegging or whatever, the woman accidentally hit or kicked the gear shift, and they rolled right on down into the water. And they were sinking fast. Down they go. Luckily, the 2 of them made it out of the vehicle before they drowned. I'm not sure if they were able to get some of their clothes on before they made their escape or if gear was swinging. But a cripe's sake, what do you call this again, Josh? A dive crew had to be called in.
How embarrassing.
Yeah, that sucks.
To make sure no one was at the bottom of the river dead. A tow company showed up. They helped pull the car out the water. It was in 9 foot of water. What a mess.
What would make it even better is if this was his side piece.
That's
this
exactly
is how he got caught.
That's exactly where I was going next, Smashly. This massive disaster was all because these two grown folks were playing hide the effing salami in the damn car at a park, which leads me to believe that this affair was supposed to be kept a secret.
And not make the news.
Explain that one to the wife when it's on television. Because unless you're a 10th grader, the only people that I know that have sex in motor vehicles at parks and park and rides and parking lots, I don't know why the word park, I guess because it's a car, it comes up constantly. The only people that I know outside of 10th graders that have sex in a car in that type of a location are people who are plucking some side ass.
That's true.
I guess the rare exception would be I know a guy who likes to have sex with women in parking lots because he doesn't want to bring these women around his kids. I should be clear. He's a divorced guy. He has sex in cars in parking lots because he doesn't want to bring these women around his kids, and the women don't want him around theirs. You see what I'm saying? They don't want to confuse the situation or whatever. Yes, mommy's single, but she has a boyfriend. Whatever. They don't want to have that conversation yet with their kids. Other than that, it's cheaters who have sex in cars in parking lots and parks.
Yeah, park and rides. I mean, you could use that a couple different ways because if you're hanging out at a park and ride, you're having an affair or you have a Sawzall and you're stealing catalytic converters. You're just going down the line. I had a buddy of mine, he's a police officer, and they were doing like an undercover thing at a park and ride and looking for people stealing catalytic converters. And what they found is more people were having affairs than stealing catalytic converters from that lot. He's like, you wouldn't believe how many people we catch having sex.
That'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, and then in his city, I guess the protocol was to let him go for 15 minutes, videotape it, bring it home, watch it later, and then not get him in any trouble.
There you go.
Yeah, it's maybe prostitution. I don't know. Do they throw a couple of lot lizards out there at a park and ride?
Boy, I guess in certain neighborhoods, if I were a hooker, that's where I'd hang out. You know what I'm saying? All right, so maybe not all of today's stupid news is straight up masturbation material. Because next up, we'll be talking about a feller who picked up a rare infection in his wang. In it or on it. I'm not sure exactly how I should say it. Dude picked up a rare infection. And you'll never guess what caused it. And you don't have to guess. I'll go ahead and tell you. Part of the cause of this guy's painful dong infection is that he had sex with his wife. I mean, do you see what I'm saying? I always tell folks to mix it up when it comes to sex partners. Josh won't listen to me on that one at all. But here's a guy who caught a penis infection partially because he had sex with his wife. Had he had sex with some other woman, maybe this wouldn't have happened. But that was part one of what caused this terrible infection. Had sex with his wife.
I kind of wonder in the hospital at his bedside if she's there holding his hand and he says, if I just slept with somebody else, I might not be here right now. I'd love to hear his rationalization for why he should have slept with somebody else.
I'd only slept with your sister. I wouldn't be in this mess right now.
Now, really odd here, the next part of the problem for this guy. Oddly enough, the other part of the problem was that he had rice for dinner. That's effing weird, right?
Yeah.
Rice for dinner, banging the wife, could create... this happened in effing Lebanon or something like that. Doctors over there treated a 38-year-old dude who caught an unusual bacterial infection in his weenus. Again, he ate rice for dinner, and then he threw his wife into the weeds. A few hours after sex with his old lady, the dude got sick as opposed to during. A few hours after sex with his wife, the dude got sick. He started with the diarrhea and the vomiting. And then, Josh, his damn dong turned red and swelled up like a friggin' balloon.
That'd be scary.
Yep.
So what did he do?
Well, if it's a regular guy would wait 3 to 4 weeks and then go to the doctor.
He waited 10 days.
Oh, my gosh. Dude.
He's throwing up. He's spraying out the back. His dong turns red as a tomato, and it swells up like a birthday balloon. And I'll give it a week to 10 days before I goes. Then he goes to see the doctor. I don't care if it's Lebanon or Loretto. We dudes just don't like to go to the doctor no matter by God what.
Especially if it's embarrassing, right?
From Lebanon all the way to Loretto. Says right here in the story now, you'll get a kick out of this. I didn't write this. This is a direct quote from the story. Doctors examined his scabbed penis.
Oh, gross.
They gave him the swab ski.
That is painful. I mean, maybe he was in such a condition where it didn't matter what else they did, but if your penis is in its normal state and you get that swab, boy, does that sting.
That was the least amount of fun I think I've ever had.
Really?
Yep. That was the least amount of fun.
Even when we saw the movie How High and were forced to stay there because the people behind the movie were right behind us?
Oh, no.
Watching How High in a movie theater starring Redman and Method Man and I think there was a pizza delivery man and a milkman. I don't know who else. That sucked, don't get me wrong. But I think getting my penis swabbed was the least amount of fun I've ever had in my entire life. So they swabbed this poor guy, and they told him he had caught something called Bacillus cereus, which is a bacteria found in soil, vegetation, and contaminated food, such as reheated rice and vegetables. This condition is also known as fried rice syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
It's been, maybe it was like a couple months ago, but everybody was talking about how you're not supposed to reheat rice.
Well, yeah, fried rice syndrome, that like kills folks.
You guys have heard of this?
Fried rice syndrome, yeah.
Oh, I've never heard word one about this. I love fried rice. When we order Chinese food, the friggin' wife usually gets something kind of fancy. She knows the menu. I don't really know the menu, and I don't really care to look because I love chicken, shrimp, or pork, usually pork fried rice, so damn much. I just tell her when she makes the order, I say, tell those folks to give me the biggest bucket of pork fried rice that they have. I'll give you any amount of money for it.
So she knows what she's doing?
Oh, yeah, she knows
like
how
she doesn't have to be like the rest of us and go, I'll have a number 23. She doesn't have there.
She's been places. She knows things. So
That's impressive.
Where was I going with this? Oh, so I reheat my fried rice for a couple, 3 days.
Yep, so do I. Maybe even longer.
I didn't know this was a thing. So, okay, it's also known as fried rice syndrome. Because they say if rice is left out at room temperature, well, I don't do that. I put it in the fridge.
Yeah.
But if it's left out at room temperature, it can produce toxins that can cause diarrhea and vomiting. Reheating it doesn't destroy those toxins once they are there. Mm. The doctors called this guy's situation extraordinary. Well, that's very nice of them, right, Josh?
Yeah. That's a nice way to put it. Not instead of gross.
But
you're a monster.
I still don't really get how this affected his pecker. Now, here's what the doctors said. Quote, they suspect that he contaminated his penis with his vomit and diarrhea. So do they mean that when the guy got so sick that he got some puke and poop on his penis? Is that what they...
Sounds like it.
Yeah, unless they incorporate that in their lovemaking. Yeah, it must have been some sort of accident, I guess.
Oh,
maybe he was naked when he started barfing or something.
Right.
So the poop I can't explain.
Yeah, that's awful, dude.
He gets this infection by eating rice that had some bacteria on it, and then it got on his dong because he was...
He threw up on his own
And I don't know, or he pooped on it. I don't... And that's how it got... His dong was brought into the party. That's horrible.
That is awful.
That is so bad.
Maybe he just ended up lying in the tub and he's shooting out of both ends, and yeah, you're going to get some on your pecker.
Yeah, I was thinking of even like splashback on a number 2 because he had diarrhea. So
enough force behind it. It was kind of splashing around down there.
I want to throw up.
You guys don't have to explain splashback to anybody. In order to get back to normal, the poor guy, he had to abstain from sex and masturbation, and they made him apply some type of ointment to his schmuck for a few days, and he had to keep the damn thing clean, too. They had him washing and drying it.
That's torture, because that could lead to masturbation just for anybody. I'm putting cream on it, and I'm washing it vigorously.
He had to wash it up and dry it. After a month, he was back in the game. But that is, I'll go along with the doctors. I will echo their thoughts and call that extraordinary. What happened to this poor bastard.
Yeah.
All right, like, can you imagine the wife? He's in the he goes running into the bathroom and slams the door because he's so sick. And the wife says, "Are you okay in there?" "Oh, I've got diarrhea and I'm vomiting." And there's some dead air for a while. And then he says, "Oh, no, I got some on my penis." "You did what in there?" "Shut up."
Not again.
Honey.
Here's a story about a gal who was spending some time in a hotel in Spain. Again, this is a very sexually charged episode of our Stupid News Report. She was spending time in a hotel in Spain. She's English or something stupid like that. She says she caught one of the hotel staffers sniffing her panties. I guess she has video.
"Oh, he's got my knickers. He's sniffing them. Oh, he's actually taken my knickers. He's sniffing them. Oh, my God. Oh, he's put them in his pocket."
I can't take her serious.
I know. "Charlie, you bit my finger."
She is English. Man, I hate the English.
I thought it was a cute accent.
I didn't like the knickers part.
It's stupid.
Oh, that turned me on, actually.
I'm with you, Wapo. They're stupid. Except for Baby Spice.
That really takes all the heat away when you say knickers.
Well, I like, you weren't expecting that, right?
Yeah, that's true. I'm gobsmacked now.
So that's audio, obviously, from the video that this gal took. Her reaction to watching the video of the hotel worker dude sneaking into her room, sniffing, and then snatching her little panties.
Does she just set up a video camera everywhere she goes?
I'll explain. She's staying in the room with her 11-year-old kid. The two of them are on vacation together. Now, I have to tell you, she is what they call here a self-employed model and content creator. She calls herself Rah Armstrong. She has an OnlyFans page. So I have to admit that I didn't believe the story at first because a lot of these gals make up lies in order to gain some more attention and in turn make more money. But I guess because there's video of a dude smelling her drawers, I'll have to give her the benefit of the doubt. Josh, did you have the same thought when you read that she was a self-employed model, content creator, and OnlyFans lady?
Yeah, it's pretty much any story you're already skeptical nowadays because so many get made up, but especially when their whole gimmick is to try and get people to go to their site.
Mm-hmm.
Self-employed model.
Yeah, who's hired you? Well, me.
Did you know I'm a self-employed guitar player?
Making good money?
No, I have to pay myself.
I mean, and I guess maybe the guy that she recorded sniffing her drawers, he could have been a friend of hers, and it's all a bit. I'll just go ahead anyway. She said there was so she checks into the hotel with her kid. She says there was a male staff member who was really overly friendly and inappropriately asked for her number and to take her out for coffee. She felt uncomfortable. He wouldn't drop it. He told her that she was, quote, too sexy to resist.
Oh, my God. No, he didn't.
All is forgiven.
He told her that he had subscribed to her OnlyFans account, which she said creeped her out. What, she had never met anyone who... Anyway.
I thought that was the goal.
Right. But I guess he creeped her out. He was too persistent in asking her out. Again, we'll just have to give her the benefit of the... Ra is her name again. She said on the final day that she and her son were at the hotel... In the morning, they went out for breakfast or something, she and her son. And this male employee went into their room while they were gone and left a bottle of Prosecco and an apology for his behavior. So,
make sure you drink that.
Yeah.
That guy hands you a drink. Nothing wrong with that.
The champagne you want to be drinking is the champagne that was gifted to you from a guy that was sniffing your drawers.
Yeah.
So that, she didn't like that bit either. So when they went out that night, she and her son, she set up her son's, what they call here, iPad, to record the goings-on in the room while they were gone. And this iPad thing apparently recorded the hotel guy entering her room, rummaging through what was her dirty laundry bag. He yanked out her G-string thong, sniffed at it, and then put her little underwears in his back pocket. She said the experience made her feel horrible and violated and scared. She said, if I'd been on my own without my son, would he have come in when I was asleep? Sleep. Yes. Sleep.
I got to say, this would be unsettling, certainly for some, like her in her situation, her kids there especially, but I would be a bit flattered if somebody wanted to smell my underwear.
It'd be a compliment for sure.
The employee was fired the next day.
He probably should be.
Yep.
Did you know that at the State Fair, we're going to be there today, 10 a.m. to noon, hanging out at the 93X booth. Love it if you can stop by if you're in the area. And all the panties we sell at the State Fair are pre-sniffed, every single one. We won't let it leave the factory until specifically Dana sniffs those panties. Do we still sell those 93X G-strings or whatever those were?
No.
We don't?
I haven't seen
I haven't seen them since I started working here.
I think I've only seen the booty shorts.
That is a
I don't
shame.
think we sell G-string panties anymore, Josh. Hey, Ashley.
Yeah?
Have you ever been in your bedroom alone and you're, kind of in and out of sleep? You ever been in your bedroom alone and you're in and out of sleep and you swear to God you hear a voice from inside your room and that voice is saying, sleep, yes, sleep.
I cannot say that that's happened.
Okay,
No.
Good.
Ashley, if someone you knew, you found out they sniffed your panties, not somebody creepy like an uncle or something, like, a friend or, like one of your boyfriend's friends. Who am I kidding? He probably doesn't have any, but, pretend he did. If you found out the person did, what's the level of creepiness / well, that's kind of cool in a way?
It's all the way creepy.
Yeah, it's different for girls.
Mm-hmm. Yep, all the way.
And I understand. I wouldn't like that if you told us that story. I'd feel like that person should be incarcerated. But for whatever reason, if he wanted to sniff mine, I think, thank you for that compliment. That's great.
You just had to ask.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if they asked, that would be more of a compliment versus like them just doing it and then me finding out that they did it.
I mean,
would you ever sniff your panties?
I know you like to have a drink every now and again. More like now. You like to have a drink right now.
Right now.
Would you ever give permission? Because you said, if they asked.
What's in it for me? Is there something in it for me?
I don't know. Just hypothetically, if someone's like, "Hey, let me go for it there."
Honestly, maybe.
What
It's not a hard no.
What if a guy said, I'll buy you a new pair of underwear if you trade me one of your dirty pairs?
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Really?
Yeah. I like new underwear.
You are open to new experiences.
None of these conversations are even necessary if you would just go to sleep.
Sleep.
All right. Believe it or not, if anyone ever says Baywatch, specifically referring to the old television show from the late 80s and early 90s, I have to respond with, never saw it.
I never did either.
I watched a lot of it.
And I love David Hasselhoff. I never watched it.
As scorching hot as the women were on that program, I just couldn't do it. And it was for one specific reason. Sorry, Cubby. I simply could not stand the sight of David Hasselhoff.
Well, you didn't like Knight Rider.
No, Knight Rider was...
I loved Knight Rider.
That show was so friggin' dumb. But even if that... I found him to be, and I still find him to be, maybe the most awful and unappealing actor imaginable.
Oh, I like the Hoff.
I tried, believe me, I tried to watch Baywatch, but all Hasselhoff had to do was appear on camera, and I was reaching for the remote. I still think he is just absolutely unwatchable, just awful.
Yeah, that guy, I'm not a huge fan of that guy either.
But he drove a talking Trans Am, man. You guys didn't think the car was cool?
The car was cool.
Kit? I love that thing.
It's just... I mean, Pam Anderson, Gina Lee Nolan, Donna D'Errico, Yasmin Bleeth. I can tell you about all the super foxes who starred on that television show. I just couldn't do it. If it was any other actor in the lead role, I'd probably have a Baywatch tattoo on my body. I'm sure I would have been obsessed with that program, but I cannot stand that guy.
Wow, that really kept you away, huh?
Yes, that was all there was to it.
I was willing to see past that.
I was too. God, I had a lot of fun with it.
Not me.
Dana passed me a note and said, David Hasselhoff was in Baywatch? Episode.
Made my skin crawl. Still does. A young actor who had to unfortunately work with Hasselhoff on that show, but also got to work with all those lava-hot ladies, a kid named Jeremy Jackson. He was a young kid at the time, teenage kid. He played a character named Hobie Buchanan. Do you recall the character and the actor?
Yeah, I do remember Hobie. He was pretty bad.
No way he was worse than Hasselhoff.
He's gone. Like, what do you mean by bad? Just like not a very good actor?
Not a very good actor, and the character was a dork. And
so you're not like a bad boy character?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
He has gone ahead and confessed that he sniffed the hot ladies' dirty swimsuits when nobody was looking.
Why would you ever confess something like that publicly?
I just thought of that. I'm like, why would you do that to yourself?
I mean, you're guaranteeing you're never getting another job again.
Yep.
At least in Hollywood.
Really, do you think so? I mean, because he's confessing that he did this when he was 14.
Yeah, I think that they're going to... There's going to be actresses on shows that are like, okay, maybe he's not the guy that we want acting next to me.
I mean, can you blame him, though? He's a 14-year-old kid with those friggin' gals storming around in front of his face all day long in those tiny red bikinis. Do you blame him?
Well, I think everyone...
I would have been licking their laundry.
Now, there's a difference between wanting to do something and going through with it. You know, reason might kick in. And I understand he's at the peak of hormones. And he's surrounded by women who look like they were built in a lab. Can understand all of that, but I just don't think I'd ever... What I blame him for is admitting it later on. I mean, think of the stuff you've done in your life that you would never admit publicly.
Well, he probably just did it all for attention and to help sell this documentary. You can watch this Jeremy Jackson talk about all this in a new documentary called After Baywatch, Moment in the Sun. He says he'd sneak into the actresses' trailers. Gals like, what was the one here? Nicole Eggert. Was Carmen Electra on, how do you call it, Baywatch?
She was.
Yep.
Okay. He didn't.
The whole time?
No, later on in the run. Mm-hmm. I think maybe even after Pam left the show.
Pam Anderson, Gina Lee.
They were like, we have no heat. We need more. More heat, please.
More heat, please.
He says he'd sneak into their trailers when they went home for the day and smell their dirty, sweaty, probably peed-in bathing suits. He says, let's just say I smelled every ass on Baywatch.
Dude, take that to the grave.
He found one Baywatch babe irresistible, and he says that was Nicole Eggert.
That's the number one answer via text, Nicole Eggert. People are saying you should have seen past the Hoff for her.
I mean, yeah, if I could do it all over again, I would have tried to ignore David Hasselhoff and just focus on the heat. But I couldn't, and I'm telling you, I cannot stand. Anyway, I got to give this Jackson kid credit. He's pretty clever. in his comments. He said about his infatuation with Nicole Eggert and sniffing her bathing suit when she wasn't looking. He said, "We," as in he and Nicole Eggert, "had a very intimate moment that she never knew about." That's funny. Eggert played a character called Summer Quinn on the show. When she was told about all this recently, she said, "I knew Jeremy very well. This surprises me not at all." And she says she's not mad. She says, her direct quote, "I mean, puberty on a show like that?" She understood why the guy was tearing at his fly all day long when no one was looking and sniffing bathing suits.
Yeah, imagine the uptucks that guy had to do on set all the time. I bet it was constant.
My damn.
Just constantly have to reshoot.
Yeah.
Dang it, again.
Cut! You got a boner again, man.
Someone should tell Jeremy Jackson it's not polite to point.
Man.
Oh, no. He says he struggled with crystal meth addiction while filming the show.
Oh,
What? Child.
What are you doing?
Those child actors, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they go through it.
He says he wouldn't sleep for 5 days.
What is going on?
Keep smoking those drugs, everybody. I can't think of anything more miserable than being awake for 5 days.
Now we know how he didn't get a boner. Was because of that.
No, he's so stoned out all the time.
Yeah, that and no sleep.
How bad was the show?
It was very cheesy.
Was it? I mean, just the promos made it look pretty cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is this? This Jeremy Jackson also served time in 20+17 for his involvement in an alleged stabbing. Boy, Hollywood is a glamorous place, isn't it, Josh?
He likes to party.
I wish I could have been a child actor.
He mentions in this long story about the new Baywatch documentary, he mentions that friggin' creep, no-talent bastard David Hasselhoff would pull him aside at times and say, "Are you high or something?" He thought maybe the kid was smoking some grass. He's ripping through crystal meth rocks, and he's awake for 5 days, just trembling at 15 years old.
Nope, I'm using a light bulb.
Just convulsing in his trailer and licking bathing suit fronts and backs.
Where were his parents?
Like the dudes in Motley Crue was in town last night. Early 90s. If Motley Crue would have seen this kid in the early 90s, they would have said, "Dude, what's wrong with you?" Convulsing. You can watch Baywatch, A Moment in the Sun, now streaming on Hulu.
I believe it's Hulu.
Hulu.
I think I'll give that a watch. It'd be a nice trip down memory lane.
Yeah, I think I'll watch that too.
Actually, you're going to pass on 90s babes?
I'm good on that.
No, you know what? I'll watch it because I heard that Hasselhoff's not in it.
Oh.
I'm out.
I think I read he contributed a couple of quotes, but that was it. So, all right. I guess whoever's you know who's in charge over there in Hong Kong, Josh? Whoever's in charge over there in Hong Kong, they don't like the idea of their teenage kids banging each other's brains out. It says here they're encouraging the kids to play badminton instead of having sex with each other. Yeah, that'll work.
Here, this is called a shuttlecock. All right, let's get your minds off the sex, everybody.
I used to play the heck out of that when I was a kid. We had a net in the backyard. It was so much fun.
That was always fun. Yeah, we played that at school quite a bit.
There was no one better than me and Big Al. 8th grade championship, 85-86. Play badminton instead of having sex with each other. That's what the adults are saying in Hong Kong. You got that, young fellas? When you get a boner, pick up a racket and play some badminton with your girlfriend. They want the young people to, quote, avoid premarital sex and other intimate behaviors. I'm happy to read that Hong Kong teenagers find this whole gimmick hilarious. The young people are all over Hong Kong social media talking about, they're making jokes. Friends with badminton. The boring sex police there in Hong Kong said this. They said, "It is normal for people to have sexual fantasies and desires, but we must recognize that we are the masters of our desires and should think twice before acting, control our desires instead of being controlled by them." Shut up, you stiffs. Jesus. We are the masters of our desires. What is this, an after-school special from hell or something. They're also advising, how does a grown person say that, Josh? Advising?
Advising.
They're also advising their kids to, quote, dress appropriately and avoid wearing sexy clothing that could lead to visual stimulation. The Morality Squad is out in full force. Morality Squad, what band, Gwar, what album, America Must Be Destroyed, what year, 1992? I don't know. I don't like the way they're talking to their kids over there, Josh.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I mean, how did they come up with that?
Yeah.
What do we? Somebody just looking around. Yeah, badminton. There's a badminton court right there. Get over there, kids.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Get my hands on as many balls as I could, and take advantage of that. Caitlin? Yeah. We done. Oh, Lex.
They like to have fun over there in the Women's National Basketball Association.
How can you not laugh at that?
Yeah. That was a press conference involving members of the Indiana Fever, including Caitlin Clark. They couldn't keep it together when one of the gals, up at the podium with her mic in her yap, talked about all the balls she'd like to get her hands on.
If you watch the video of it, too, it's really fun to watch Caitlin, try for a second and a half to keep it together, and she just can't.
Well, the girl that said it, Lexi, too, you could see her face change when she realized, oh, no.
Yep.
I did it now.
I'm going to be on the internet later.
You know who would be better at holding it together in a situation like that? Angel Reese. Angel Reese could have kept it together. I've just included myself in the Caitlin Clark Angel Reese rivalry. Josh, how do you think this is going to play out for me?
Well, let's see. Well, I'll wait for some texts to come in.
Yeah, one of Caitlin Clark's teammates there, a gal by the last name of Hull, she said about a good game that she had out on the court that night. She said she was just trying to get her hands on as many balls as she could, and the gals lost it. They did. We got another. Don't we have another sexually charged accidental comment later on in the? Oh yeah,
we do. Yeah, we'll start shaving.
A little bit later on, you'll hear another. Twins, Blue Jays all weekend at Target Field. Golden Gopher football last night. For Christ's sake, you know, yeah. They're working on it. They're working on things. They're working out the kinks. They're doing. It's early in the season. They played North Carolina at home and. North Carolina beat them by a couple of points. Golden Gophers were lined up for the game-winning field goal, and the poor kicker missed. Good crowd last night. Good crowd. It's time to get some.
Just trying to get some.
I thought we were going to get some. It didn't.
Yeah.
Before the season's out, they're going to get some. There's no doubt about it. We were talking, we're going to go here in a second. We were talking earlier about Baywatch, the old television show Baywatch from the 80s and 90s with David Hasselhoff and Pam Anderson and Yasmin Bleeth and Nicole Eggert and Tracy Binging something or another. All the hot ladies. Unfortunately, they had to work with Hasselhoff. He sucks. I couldn't watch the show because he's such a garbage actor. Couldn't watch it. Even with all that heat, I just couldn't do it. Got a text from a listener that says, you know how in porn, what you get to see overrides the bad acting? This listener says, that formula didn't work out on Baywatch. I agree with him. I agree. Cubbies news coming up next.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930, now ran by his granddaughter Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
It is savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals that can save you thousands. Visit standardheating.com for all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
Former Navy SEAL Sean Ryan shares real stories from real people from all walks of life on The Sean Ryan Show.
Tucker Carlson, what is it that you think that people gravitate
I'm not
towards?
Self-aware. I refuse to be self-aware. I don't even look in mirrors at all, which you can probably tell from my appearance. I don't have a crazy high IQ, or I really don't have that many skills. I would say my main skill is I believe my instincts. I don't hesitate to follow my instincts, ever. To the extent that I have, I've gotten in trouble.
The Sean Ryan Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
I have to be really careful about how I react to it or to not show a reaction because this person might be watching me. And that really creeped me out.
A 31-year-old Ontario man just couldn't resist a little late-night thrill. And now he finds himself facing charges of voyeurism after being caught scaling a building with his pants down to spy on a woman's bathroom.
Dude was able to scale a window. Oh, how did you say that?
He scaled a building.
He had no pants or underwears on?
No pants.
Oh,
Nothing.
my God. A hell of an athletic move.
In something police are calling pulling a whopple, a woman got an early morning wake-up call Tuesday about 6:15 a.m. after a pervert climbed 20 feet up the outside wall of her residence.
Freaking Spider-Man.
I wouldn't believe my eyes.
She noticed the pantsless prowler peering into her bathroom window while trying to remove the screen, presumably thinking he'd slip in unnoticed, but that didn't happen. When officers arrived, they found the man still naked from the waist down, wedged between two buildings about 4 feet apart, using his legs to hold himself up. But the guy wasn't done yet. He was far too horny to give up. Police said he then somehow managed to climb onto the building's roof before making the mature decision to jump to the ground in a desperate attempt to get away.
Now he jumped off the building?
Yes. He didn't get far, as cops are pretty good at catching the bad guys, even in Canada. He was caught after a brief struggle and taken to the hospital.
So he when he hit the ground, he didn't break anything?
I don't know. He was hurt enough that they took him to the hospital, maybe just to get checked out.
Not even his pecker?
Police added he made another escape attempt by breaking free from an officer and sprinting toward an exit, but they caught him once again.
What do you think about that guy?
He's committed, but deranged. Too bad he can't use all that gumption for something a little better for society versus trying to sneak a peek at some poor woman.
Trying to whack off 20 feet up.
Well, there's some terribly sad breaking news as Columbus Blue Jackets player Johnny Gaudreau and his brother Matthew died in a bike accident. We'll talk about this more with Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder. The brothers were killed after they were struck by a car riding bikes in New Jersey last night.
That's absolutely brutal.
Awful. The night before their sister's getting married, too. Just completely tragic.
Really,
heartbreaking.
Really brutal.
While that 31-year-old Canadian man was busy scaling buildings to spy on naked chicks, shoppers in Florida had their own unexpected thrill over the weekend. A typical Sunday grocery store trip turned wild for some shoppers when deputies chased a wanted man through the produce aisle of a Florida Walmart. 35-year-old Joshua Comer was wanted for blackmailing a woman by threatening to share explicit photos of her.
Well, one of those guys.
And when she refused to pay, he followed her through the store, sending the videos to her friends on Facebook. Deputies spotted Comer browsing the produce section. As soon as they saw them see him, he made a break for it. The pursuit, which lasted just a few minutes, ended outside in the parking lot where cops managed to apprehend the suspect.
Tell me your hands right now! Okay! Hands! They are! On top of your head!
Besides the blackmail charges, authorities also discovered he was carrying a stolen gun and had stashed a stolen shotgun and ammunition nearby, along with drug paraphernalia, which tested positive for fentanyl. To top it off, he's also facing charges for robbing a gas station.
He sounds like a real cutie pie, huh?
Yeah. A 25-year-old man was arrested after he was accused of climbing on top of a sunbathing woman and, quote, thrusting. The 25-year-old, strangely appropriately named Alonzo Dixon, approached the woman as she sunbathed on the beach near the Santa Monica Pier Tuesday afternoon. He then climbed on top of her and started thrusting, police said. The woman
just like a dry hump.
Yeah, sounds that way. The woman quickly stood up while her sister pushed the man away. According to police, while Dixon hasn't previously been arrested in California, he has at least one pending criminal case in Washington. As part of their investigation into the beach incident, police said they're looking into details of the Washington case. Yeah, don't know if this guy's some sort of sick pervert or he was doing something he thought was hilarious for social media. Not sure. There's an investigation underway in Arizona after a 60-year-old Wells Fargo employee passed away at work, with police saying her body may have gone unnoticed at work for 4 days before someone saw her.
Oh, my goodness.
The discovery was made at the Wells Fargo corporate office in Tempe, where employees are deeply shaken.
To hear that she's just been sitting at the desk, that would make me feel, sick, and that nobody did anything. That was how she spent her last moment.
According to police, the employee clocked in August 16th at 7 a.m. Wasn't until August 20th that building security noticed something was wrong and called authorities, who found her unresponsive at her desk. Some employees had noticed a foul odor over those days, but assumed it was due to plumbing issues. Wells Fargo expressed their sadness over the loss and are offering counseling services to employees. Police said there's no signs of foul play, and they're working with the medical examiner to determine that cause of death.
It's a pretty crazy story, but I can imagine this place, somebody could die for a few days and nobody would notice.
Well, this place is gigantic. Nobody's here anymore. And it smells like death, whether somebody just died or not.
All the signs are there.
Did this lady have her own private office?
She had, her desk was like on a third floor that was tucked away a little bit. And people kind of like here, they're not going into the office as much.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, I mean, that is so sad. To die at work, first and foremost, and then you're there for 4 days?
Yeah, that would hurt.
Son of a bitch.
A 59-year-old Florida teacher decided to take hands-on learning a bit too literally Saturday when she put a student in a headlock during class. Even more disturbing, that student is just 3 years old and autistic. Vilma Otero faces child abuse charges after a paraeducator, reported the incident to the Florida Department of Children and Families. The witness saw Otero casually sitting with the child, locked between her legs in a chokehold during story time. Photos show the teacher's legs and feet firmly on either side of the child's neck as she continued reading to the class. Despite the mountain of evidence, when questioned, the woman, who boasts 36 years of teaching experience to the cops.
36 years.
You know, I've been doing this for 36 years. She denied the allegations, even when police kindly showed her the photos. She now faces a felony charge of child abuse. Pretty weird.
How do you deny it when they show you the photo?
Proof right here.
No, that's Photoshop. Well, the kid has marks on his neck from your feet.
That's AI.
Yeah. And there's dozens of witnesses. Police in California are digging into 2 troubling incidents at Dublin High School, one of which involved a full-on attack on a student, but the attackers weren't fellow classmates or even kids from a rival school. They were adults who apparently decided it was perfectly normal to storm the boys' locker room and rough up a teenager.
Wow, that's a new one for me.
Yeah. In a letter to families, Principal Maureen Byrne explained that a football player and coach stepped in to put a stop to the assault. However, she didn't shed much light on why some grown-ups thought it was a good idea to target a teen.
The athlete was hurt. It's an unfortunate circumstance that we had these adult individuals come on campus after hours and then enter the boys' locker room.
The troubling incident comes a week after Dublin High School had to be locked down due to a fake report of a fight involving a deadly weapon.
So how old is this kid that got tuned up by a group of grown folks?
They just said a teenager, so a high school age teen.
This must be one hell of a neighborhood.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine something like that. These are adults.
They hated that kid.
I guess. Anytime me and my fellow adults like to beat up a young person, we wait till after school. We have respect for society and the way things should work.
Yeah, you guys have a code, and I've always appreciated that about you, Josh.
From a misguided teacher trapping a toddler in a limb lockdown to some equally misguided grown adults who mistook a boy's locker room for a WWE ring, it's been a wild week in the world of educational environments, including this story out of Pennsylvania. A wild day at a Linwood business came to a dramatic end when police arrested a naked, blood-covered man last week, which is no way to behave at a daycare. No. Officers were called to the Sunrise Christian Day School after getting reports of a man who'd apparently lost all his clothes and whatever was left of any good judgment he may have had. Armed with scissors, he was trying to break into the daycare. When police arrived, they were greeted by clothes scattered like confetti across the lobby, along with the soundtrack of banging and breaking glass from upstairs. The suspect, an 18-year-old, had taken the fast way down, leaping from the second floor, leading police to find him naked, bloody, and on the street below.
I cannot commend the staff enough. They kept everyone safe. Their doors were locked. Their children were quiet as it was wonderful.
Later that day, as I was driving home in my car, I was like, oh, that could have been really bad. We thank God that it wasn't.
The excitement didn't end there, however. On the way to the hospital, he decided to spit blood at medical staff.
Yuck, you don't do that. What a crazy call that you would get as a parent. What happened at school today?
We got a crackhead at the daycare center. That's what happened.
Security cameras captured the moment a 39-year-old arsonist got a dose of instant karma while trying to set fire to a convenience store in England. Footage of the fiery fiasco follows 3 men barging into Zaff's Go Local store around 5:40 p.m. Sunday. They poured fuel on the floor and lit it, but one of them, holding the gas can, set himself on fire. Video from outside the store shows the unlucky arsonist frantically trying to put out the flames as he ran away with his 2 accomplices. The store's owner said damage to the store is estimated at about $15,000. Police say the investigation is ongoing and they're working to locate the 3 men involved.
No fun lighting yourself on fire.
Oh, boy, I'll bet that hurt quite a bit.
You feel like a jackass about it.
Yeah, you're embarrassed. Yeah. I mean, it's an international story now. You set yourself on fire. Just like how retailers are rolling out Halloween in August, Michigan State Police are getting into costume, this time as construction workers on I-75. To crack down on speeding in construction zones, state troopers pulled a sneaky move, dressing up as Michigan Department of Transportation workers. And as you guessed, the undercover speed trap worked like a charm. In just 5 hours, they caught a whole lot of leadfoots.
That's not fair. You can't dress like a friggin' street worker and then suddenly you're a cop. It's not friggin' fair.
Yeah, Dana mentioned codes earlier. That's against code.
It is.
There's a code between civilians and cops. You broke that code. Police are saying it's a good reminder to ease up on the gas, especially when you're cruising through construction zones. That should be the exception, right? You got to slow down through there. There's folks working.
Thank God I'm a sovereign citizen.
I heard a stand-up comedian do a bit once where he said the undercover cops, their cars look just like regular cop cars. If they really wanted to fool people, they should have undercover cops drive around like an ice cream trucks or something.
And I bet the FBI, right? Or the CIA, that's what they do.
Yeah, that's what they do there.
The Minnesota State Fair is breaking records again, with over 145,000 people attending Wednesday, surpassing the previous Wednesday record set in 2018. Despite a slow start earlier in the week due to extreme heat and storms, the fair has already seen over 980,000 visitors this year, with several days yet to go.
There's too many people.
I agree.
The fair kicked off 2024 with record-breaking attendance on both opening day and the first Friday, drawing huge crowds. So Wednesday's milestone means there's now been 3 attendance records set this year. If you're heading to the fair today, you can catch Matchbox 20 with special guest Beauty School Dropout.
Oh, my God.
And don't forget to stop by the 93X booth where we'll be hanging out from 10 until noon.
I bet it's going to be another record today.
I would think you're probably right.
The weather's going to be beautiful. We got to start misleading some people as to when the fair happens. Do you know what I mean?
So it's a little lighter traffic?
Yeah, we need to start lying to some people about the dates or something.
I went yesterday simply because I knew it was going to rain, so the lines were going to be short, and oh, baby, they were. I didn't have to wait in line for anything. It was so nice.
I've had that experience once or twice, and it is glorious.
Gosh. New in theaters this week, astronauts aboard a multi-year mission struggle to maintain their grip on reality as side effects from their long hibernation cycles compromise their mission in a new sci-fi thriller, Slingshot, starring Lawrence Fishburne and Casey Affleck. And also in theaters, Afraid. What's the laughing for?
Oh, the movie sounds kind of stilly.
Oh,
kind of stilly.
Yeah, it does sound kind of stilly.
They're astronauts, you said, Josh?
That's correct.
If I'm going to watch Lawrence Fishburne in space, I'm going to watch Event Horizon again. Oh, one of the weirdest movies. Have you guys seen Event Horizon?
I have.
Never saw it.
It's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't mind it.
And it's kind of gory.
And I like Lawrence Fishburne.
And it's kind of confusing.
Yep.
But, Lawrence Fishburne, he's all right by me. By God, he is.
Weird, gory, and confusing. It's like sex. That's how I feel about it. Just throw in some guilt and it's exactly sex. Also in theaters, Afraid. The Curtis family is selected to test a new home device, a digital assistant, which learns the family's behaviors and anticipates their needs. But things get scary when she begins making sure nothing and no one gets in her family's way. That's freaky and deaky.
I kind of want to see it.
Mm-hmm. I love movies like that.
I'll wait for it to come on streaming, but I do want to see it as well.
I'll see you at the theater, though. I'll be seeing Slingshot, though.
Yep. You owe it to him. And a presidential picture premieres in theaters this week, Reagan. Dennis Quaid stars in a drama based on the life of Ronald Reagan from his childhood to his time in the Oval Office. On the streaming side, making its Netflix debut today, Glenn Close and Omar Epps in The Deliverance, about an Indiana family facing demonic events in their home that's believed to be a portal to hell. Today on Peacock, the streaming premiere of The Fall Guy, and streaming live on Netflix this Labor Day, Chestnut versus Kobayashi Unfinished Beef. Watch live Monday as hot dog eating champion Joey Chestnut faces off against rival Takeru Kobayashi in the ultimate winner-takes-all competition.
That's Monday. I get to watch the wean off with Kobayashi and Chestnut.
That's right.
All right.
Streaming live on Monday.
I'd forgotten about that.
I thought it was like 2 p.m. our time, something like that.
All right, then.
NFL great and Holy Angels alum Larry Fitzgerald Jr. turns 41 tomorrow. I apologize. We've been having problems with our text today, so if you sent in a text, I don't mean to ignore you. Maybe we can get it for 9 a.m. And that's 93X News.
Randy Shaver
is a big humper, literally humping everyone. He is social, but he's more concerned about humping everybody.
on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
How about a little threesome? This booth, we could do some damage. On the golf course, 0-2 to Ernie Clement.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, the Boston Red Sox broadcast booth, they went sideways, and they couldn't get it back for a good 15 seconds or so after one of them said threesome. Now, they were talking about golf, but it doesn't matter. They just, they couldn't bring it back. Damn near couldn't bring it back at all. Josh and I have always said, why stop at 3? There's room for more.
Plenty of room.
Especially on the golf course.
You can't do that on a golf.
You can really spread things out on a golf course. I never thought of that, Randy Shaver. Finally, a decent reason for golf courses.
Right.
Orgies.
Plenty of room.
Yeah.
And there's 18 holes.
That's right. Nasty sumbitch, Brad Ryder. That's what you are.
I'm just stating the fact.
18 of them. All right, boys. How you doing? Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder, good to hear from you.
It's good to be here.
I'm ready to just can this operation, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, can't believe we're already to Labor Day weekend. Crazy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Summer did blow by.
Kind of sad.
Are you getting sad? Well, because you went back to work and it's still bothering you.
Yeah.
Right.
Feeling a little sadness. How was your first 3 days at work, Brad Ryder?
It was fine.
Any of the kids get cute with you?
No, not yet. They're all scared of me yet.
That won't last long.
No, that won't. You're right. That won't last long.
Do you look for troublemakers right away? Do you try and size them up?
The funny thing is, after I've done this now for about 5 years, you start to figure out pretty early who are the good ones and who are the ones who are going to be late with everything, and who it happens pretty early.
Were you a pretty good student, Brad Ryder?
No.
Oh, I picture you as a very good student.
Well, then you should be.
I was well behaved. I wasn't, I wasn't like a rebel, but I was far from an A student.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you make all those basketball teams and baseball teams? Did they not pay attention to grades back in those days?
No, they still don't.
C's get degrees.
What do you mean they still don't?
I was just about to repeat that, Ashley. C's get degrees.
And so do D's.
That's one of the things I actually tell my students on day one in my freshman classes is that the state of the free world is not going to depend upon whether you get an A, B, or C in my class. Here's the things I want you to learn and take out of it, and whatever grade you get is what you get.
Randy Shaver, did you ever fail a class back when you were in high school or college?
Never in high school. Very, very close in college. In fact, my freshman year was somewhat of a disaster academically at Iowa State because I just spent too much time in the bars and everything else.
Were you smoking marijuana?
No, didn't do that. I was on the track team, so it was just mainly just being stupid in the bars. But I made up for it, and I got out in 4 years, and I got my degree. So,
well, what was it that you almost failed?
It was a math class, and I forget exactly what it entailed.
I've never been very good with that arithmetic.
I didn't go to class very much, and it was just kind of stupid on my part, and got time to take the final, and I needed a certain number or I was going to fail. And my professor was kind enough to give me the forewarning that you have screwed up pretty much this entire semester. If you don't do this, you probably will fail. And of course, it was in the my track situation was on the line with that too. So I did make the number, and I survived with a D, and that was kind of a wake-up call for me, and I was kind of like, okay, I got to get my act together.
So after your freshman year, you kicked it into gear.
Oh, my senior year was so brutal because I had to make up for so many credits that I had screwed up. I mean, I took a full load of credits my entire senior year in college in order to graduate in 4 years.
Well, how much marijuana were you smoking then?
I didn't smoke any. I just did not. I did not go to class very much my freshman year, and it was.
I went an extra quarter. I mean, not because I didn't fail anything necessarily, but I just didn't know what I wanted to do for a really, really long time, and so there was a lot of semesters early on, freshman, sophomore year, I was taking minimum amount of credits.
I can't share any college stories, but you guys already know that at the ass end of my high school career, if that's what you call it, I had to take night school and I had to be the only boy in an all-girl cooking class in order to graduate high school.
Oh, I remember night school. That sucked. It definitely
Night school was awesome. All we did was watch movies and smoke grass.
No, all of our stuff was on a computer, so it was brutal. But it does hit a little different when you fail at class in college because you're like, I literally paid for this. Mm-hmm. What am I doing?
You see, we've shared these stories before, and that brings me to my Brown Institute experience, where I could not believe the level of effing off that was going on with my classmates at Brown Institute when you considered how much friggin' money they were paying. They must have just all come from wealthy families that didn't give a pump. None of them looked wealthy, but they sure acted like they were because... Yeah. Like Ashley was saying, that's when I focused was, number one, I needed to find something to do with my life. And number two, I'm actually paying really good money for this. I better do something. And there were kids in my Brown Institute class who would show up drunk. Like Randy, they smoked a lot of pot.
So much pot. Jeez, that's a lot of pot.
But Ashley, you said C's and D's get degrees. Mm-hmm. Ashley, sometimes you can even get F's and they'll just get you out of the way.
Yeah.
When that big moment strikes where they want to graduate you or not, sometimes they'll just push you along because they've had enough of you.
Yeah. Where that's not completely true is if you need scholarship money, like academic scholarship money for college, and if you don't get certain GPA, you don't get the scholarship money. And with the cost of college,
I can't speak that language.
Yeah, well, with the cost of college today, a lot of kids need that. So in that regard, you do need to do well in college. But yeah.
But that's not a bad thing either, Brad, because that means that you've got to focus on what you're doing.
Yeah, I could have used that in college.
Is it true that double D's get degrees? Does anyone?
Couldn't hurt.
College.
You get backaches, maybe.
You friggin' guys with your fancy schmancy educations. I'm not scared of you. You're not the boss of me because you got yourself an education.
Well, in a way, I tell my students those things just to kind of lower, put yourself on their level a little bit so that they understand, so that they know that you understand what they're going through a little bit. But
I hear you. Well, there you go. Brad's back to work. That explains his mood.
I get a long weekend. I'm fine today.
3-day weekend. All of us, we hate to start our sports conversation with just devastating, awful, brutal, tragic news. But in case you're just coming to, for you hockey fans, a kid by the name of Johnny Gaudreau. Well, he's 31 years old. Been around in the NHL for a while. Didn't he have a nickname, Johnny
Hockey?
Hockey. Mm-hmm. Right. Johnny Gaudreau played for the Flames for a while, a couple years ago, signed with Columbus. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that he's dead. He and his brother died last night. They were bicycling in a place called Oldman's Township, New Jersey, which is close to their hometown of Salem, New Jersey. Johnny and his brother Matthew were on bicycles when they were hit by a car. Now, I got a couple of text messages saying drunk driver. Now, there's nothing in this story that indicates drunk driving.
There's stories that are saying He was an alleged
Yeah,
drunk
the
driver.
the story I read this morning said that they are suspicious that the driver was under the influence. Yes,
fair enough. But that is just absolutely devastating
it's awful.
for anyone that age and their brother to go out. Josh mentioned this a handful of minutes ago when we touched on it in his news report. The two of them, Matthew and Johnny, the Goudreau brothers, were scheduled to be groomsmen in their sister's wedding today.
Oh,
unbelievable.
So awful.
Oh, my God.
So, I mean, this is just heartbreaking and awful. Apparently,
Oh, my God.
last night they're riding bicycles around somewhere and they got in a tangle with a car.
It wasn't their fault. They were hit from behind.
Is that
so
right?
They never really saw it. Yeah. My understanding is that the person who hit them was trying to pass someone on the right side. A car ahead of them had moved over to the left-hand side of the lane because of the bicycles. But the person behind them sped up to go to the right side to speed past them and didn't realize there were bicycles there and hit them. They had no chance.
This is a guy, I don't know about Matthew Goudreau, but Johnny, the NHL player. He and his wife have a couple young kids.
Oh, my God.
A couple of young kids. So, I mean...
That is just absolutely, unbelievably tragic.
Yeah,
That is just terrible.
What can you say? The NHL has taken a hell of a hit as of last night. Now, a couple articles I read are noting that this is the second terrible tragedy that the Columbus Blue Jackets have had to endure over the last few years. What was the name of the goaltender? I had it in front of me, and now I lost it. I swear to God, I had it right here in front of me. Okay, yes, I have it here now. 3 years ago, the Blue Jackets had a goaltender by the name of Matisse Villenix. I'm sorry. He was killed in a fireworks accident. Do you guys remember this?
Mm-hmm. I don't.
Oh.
Matisse Villenix, whatever the hell the name is, I apologize. I can't figure it out. Got killed in a fireworks accident 3 years ago over the summer. He was at the home of Manny Legacy, who was the goalie coach for the Blue Jackets at the time. I don't have any I remember the story. I don't remember the details of how this kid died from fireworks, but this is twice in 3 years that the Blue Jackets have dealt with an off-season horrific tragedy. That's just beyond belief.
I think it was one of those, like, they were shooting off the fireworks. It was starting to move over the place, and then he ran up there to grab it and kind of stabilize it, and then it kind of blew up, I think.
Oh, but that must have been one hell of a friggin' firework.
Oh, yeah. God, I guess.
To kill a guy on the spot?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, our condolences go to the friends and family, if there are any listening to our program, of the Goudreaus.
Can't imagine.
To lose two young members of your family, especially in a time where you're going to be celebrating their sister's wedding, it takes your breath away.
It does.
And I've said this before on the show. I'm going to say it again. People need to slow down on the roads and be a little bit more careful, because the last 5 years, at least to me, and this isn't a get off my lawn take because I'm getting old, it seems like people are driving a little bit more in general out of control and going, 90, 95 miles an hour on the interstate. It's just, slow down, for crying out loud.
I ain't mad at you, Brad Ryder. I'm sick of it too.
The State Patrol
seriously.
The State Patrol just put out a message saying essentially what you just said there, Brad, that it is getting a little crazy.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean,
so-
nothing you're going to is so important that you got to get there 3 minutes early and endanger a bunch of lives along the way. It's getting really ridiculous.
And there's so many ways not to drink and drive, especially now. It just doesn't make any sense.
I'm tired of the dildos too, Brad Ryder. I'm tired of the folks that just have no regard for anyone other than themselves, and that covers a lot of different areas. But if we're specifically talking about driving, I'm tired of seeing clowns go ripping by as fast as they can. We get it. You're a tough guy. Go F yourself. People texting in saying the goaltender years ago was in a hot tub. A firework shot his way. He couldn't get out of the way. I don't know if that's true, but appreciate your text. And another listener texted in to remind us of another Columbus Blue Jackets tragedy. And I'm going to need someone to look up the details on this. I want to say it was Sandis Ozelinch, but I could be wrong with the player's name. Fired a puck up into the stands many years ago. This might have been the first year that the Columbus Blue Jackets were the Columbus Blue Jackets. And the puck killed somebody in the stands, and that was the springboard for the round-the-rink netting that we now have at NHL games. Can you look that up for me, somebody?
Yeah, it looks like her name was Brittany.
Well, let's leave the kid's name out of it. It was a little kid?
She was like 20.
Oh, I thought it was a little kid. What was the player's name? He was a real hot-shot defenseman. It wasn't Sandis Ozelinch. Who was it? It was a hot-shot defenseman.
Espen Knutson?
That doesn't sound right to me, but I'll have to go along with it. So, yeah, the Blue Jackets. My damn. All right.
It says here's a shot from Espen Knutson that was deflected by Flames defender Derek Morris and went over the glass behind up into the stands.
I'll have to go along with it.
It looks like she was 13.
Well, my goodness. All right. Last night, the University of Minnesota Football Club got their season underway at home against North Carolina. By damn, they lost by a couple of points, and they had a chance to win it. Now, I hit the sack. I don't know about the rest of you. I watched. Did you?
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah.
I had to get in there. So
Very
I missed
disappointing.
Missed field goal of 47 yards, Randy Shaver?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, but the play before, they were in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
And the play before, they run the ball to the right, so they give him a tougher angle than what they should have done.
Uh-huh.
And he ends up pulling it a little bit to the right and missing the field goal. Had he lined up straight down the middle where they were set up the play before, probably would have made it.
I thought in college football it was only one hashtag or the other, hash mark or the other.
No.
No, what I'm saying is,
if you go outside of the hash, then you get on that hash.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. They ran the ball.
Yeah. To the wrong side of the field.
For his angle, and he had missed a field goal from that angle earlier in the game.
He's a left-footed kicker. You'd think he's a left-footed kicker. Wouldn't you think you'd want to give him the left hash mark?
But Randy's stealing exactly what I was going to say, because earlier in the game, he was on the right hash and he hooked it essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, so I hate to use a golfing analogy here, but if you're golfing and you're having a day where you're hooking everything, the last thing you want to do is set up on the side of the tee box that's going to allow you to hook, and that's exactly what they did on the game winner too.
The kicker's got a big leg. What's his name? Kesich?
Yeah, Kesich. And you're right. And it was easily would have been good. I mean, by a mile.
Uh-huh.
The problem is that he hooked it to the right, and it just didn't make any sense. And the announcers were saying it too. I was saying it sitting there. What are they doing? Why are they running the ball? They're right in the middle of the field. Why would they do that?
If anything, you want to maybe go over to more to the left, knowing that he had hooked the other one. But
and North Carolina, took a timeout before he kicked to give him more time to think about it. And they should not have been in that position. Let's put it this way: that the kid missed the field goal, but it's not his fault. That team should not have been in that position to have to win the game late. They were in control of the game. The second half starts. They give up 2 long drives for scores. They fumble the ball inside their own 20. They just kind of, but, I'll give them some credit. They found a way to be in position to win, but it was just a comedy of some errors in the second half that unfortunately led to a very tough loss to open the season.
Big surprise that,
in my opinion, went back and forth, and that's the type of game you wish you could play to 60 more minutes, because it's such a great game. I told our team at the very end, this is a team loss, period. This isn't lost by one person. This isn't lost by one play. We had a lot of opportunities on offense and defense and special teams, just like they did. There's going to be a lot of plays that North Carolina want back. We want back. This is where you grow the most.
It's PJ Fleck, who a lot of listeners are calling for him to be fired this morning.
That's true.
I love him.
I love PJ, too. Okay.
Did they accidentally set off the fireworks with that missed kick last night?
They did.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Got the fireworks off.
You mean at the end of the game?
Won the game.
Yeah, somebody, whoever's in charge of the fireworks button thought they won.
Oh.
And hit the fireworks instead.
Oh, that hurts.
I missed that. I was sound asleep. Okay, here's a listener, Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder, a listener by the name of I'd Eat Ashley's Skin Tags Jesus.
Oh, my word.
Cool.
Oh, God.
He says it's kickers' preference to what side they want to kick on. That's why they ran to the right side.
I don't know if that's true because it just didn't make a lot of sense when you look at what he did previous. But
yeah,
all right,
that may be true. I guess I looked at it. Why in the world would you not want to stay in the middle of the field? It just didn't make any sense to me.
What do you think of the new quarterback, Max Brosmer?
I think the jury is still out on whether he will be able to. He needs to play better. Let's put it that way. The fumble was on him inside the 20.
Late in the game, he fumbled, right?
But late in the game, he got them down the field in a hurry to set up for the field goal. So I'll give him credit that he made some plays to put him in position.
Oh, God.
It's disappointing. They really should have won the game. It's a heartbreaker for them.
Season's over, says one listener. Season's over.
Fire everybody.
We're not going to win another game.
Next up, they play Rhode Island.
The schedule is so difficult.
Yep.
Rhode Island and whoever else they play early.
Rhode Island.
They're a juggernaut.
You can see why the odds makers put their number at 5.5 wins for the season because their schedule is difficult.
Man.
Yep.
It's
and
Rhode
Darius
Island
Taylor
and
didn't play
Nevada.
last night either, which is disappointing.
It's going to be tough for him to get to 6 after not winning that one. I think that was one that you kind of needed if you were going to get to 6.
That was a borderline.
Yep.
That was a borderline.
That was where that half win comes in.
Yep.
That is a hell of a deal. They lose to North Carolina by a couple of points, and then right when you think you're going to get a break, Josh, Rhode Island comes to town on September 7th.
Ouch.
It was fun to see Golden Gopher football again. I'm not pissed off about it. I'm a pretty reasonable type of a fan. I just watch it for the fun, so I'm looking forward to some more games.
It's kind of a crazy night. A lot of games got moved around. You know, it was opening night for high school football. The weather just, the storm that blew through in the Metro blew through right during prime time football time. So a lot of games either got pushed to today. Many of them started late last night. There was a couple of high school games that started at like 9 o'clock last night.
Dang.
Just because there is such a shortage of referees that they couldn't reschedule today. So they had to get these games in order, because otherwise they would have been facing some real issues.
Man.
Some games got moved to like 10 o'clock this morning. It was a crazy night for not just the Gophers, who pushed their start time back, I think, about an hour, but for a lot of teams out there.
I'd have loved to have been a high school kid going to my school's Thursday night ball game that started at 9 o'clock. You know, right?
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool.
The high schools aren't in school yet, so.
They're not?
Well, no.
Oh, well, I guess that doesn't really matter. I guess where I'm going with that is if I'm going out to watch my school play football at 9 o'clock, I come home at 3 o'clock in the morning. My mom says, "Where you been?" I said, "Well, Christ, the game didn't start till 9 o'clock. It just wrapped up." NFL players are competitive and greedy and self-centered. A lot of them. Jamar Chase, wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. He's looking for a new contract, and he's looking to surpass the one that our guy, Jerry Jeffberg's. Justin Jefferson. He's looking for a contract that will surpass Justin Jefferson. They're old teammates at Louisiana State University, right? So here's what I read. Jamar Chase wants to sign a contract that's worth $140 million and 1 cent. Because Justin Jefferson signed a contract for $140 million.
That's funny.
Then it'd be funny if Justin Jefferson wanted to restructure his contract to pay him and 2 cents.
He's holding out of games, refusing to practice until he gets that extra 2 cents. I remember once when Josh was real upset that he didn't get his $2.
Oh, man. I'd bike by every day and ask for those $2.
What movie, Better Off Dead?
Anybody else see that movie?
No.
The young
time
people,
ago.
they don't know what we're talking.
Never saw it.
They never know what we're... Wapple, that's my bit. You got to come up with a new bit when you haven't seen a movie.
Oh, I thought that was Doug's bit.
Gimmick infringement.
No, but Doug was never on air. I made it mine on air.
That was
You got to come up
bit.
with something else. You can say, I have never witnessed it. You can say, I've never... Wapple, please. Gimmick infringement. You're a wrestling fan. You know all about it.
Enough!
You can only take it if it's somebody off air. Then you can take. Wapple, you'd love the movie.
Would I?
Yeah, you should watch it.
Better Off Dead.
Yeah, you'd like it.
The Vikings waived quarterback Jaron Hall, if that means anything to anybody, and they signed a quarterback named Brett Rippon.
I think that's Mark Rippon's son, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Speaking of sons,
And that would make Shane Churla his second cousin. Yes, go ahead, Randy.
Speaking of sons, that was Brad Johnson's son who got injured last night at the North Carolina Gopher game.
Oh, that was Brad Johnson's son?
Yep.
That was Brad Johnson's kid. He was in the stands last night, obviously, with his wife.
Oh.
Actually, his other son plays tight end for North Carolina, so both of his boys are on that team.
F me running. I had no idea.
That was devastating last night, that poor kid. I'm sure it looked like a season-ending type of knee injury.
Oh, no.
Last night, but he had waited 5 years. I mean, he bounced around at other colleges. He shows up in North Carolina. Of course, Drake May graduates, goes to the NFL, and he gets his chance. He's a fifth-year senior, gets his chance to play, and in the first game.
Oh, yeah, that sucks. I remember hearing about Max Johnson for years, and I don't know why I never put 2 and 2 together when they kept saying his name last night, that it was, I always loved Brad Johnson. Very nice guy.
Mm-hmm. The video of that incident is up on 93x.com. If you want to take a look at it.
Oh, no.
Incident.
Boy, there's a lot of things we can't do anymore because of the incident.
Mm-hmm. Why do we have video of this kid's injury on our website?
Josh sent it to me.
Why wouldn't we? It's a news story.
Kind of cold-blooded, isn't it?
I didn't know you all of a sudden got sensitive. I thought you liked people getting injured.
Josh is a cold-blooded killer.
I just think it's fun. Hey, if you want to see a kid's injury come to an end, go to our website.
You want to see the worst moment in a kid's life.
I dig it. Let's be dicks.
All right, well, take it off then.
Let's be dicks.
You're the same guy that prayed somebody would get injured at Randy's pickleball tournament, and someone did, and you laughed about it.
That's a solid point.
It wasn't to embarrass this kid.
That's a solid point.
Check.
My God.
That you just made.
Brutal.
All right, so they say Brett Rippon brings more experience to the backup quarterback position, all right? Are you cool with that, Brett Rippon?
Well, I think they're going to try to bring Hall back on their practice squad. I don't know if that happened or not.
Crap or get off the pot, a guy. I know a guy that used to say, crap or get off the pot. One way or the other. What are you doing here?
Right.
You know what I'm saying, Randy Shaver. Baker Mayfield, quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He did all right last year, didn't he?
Yeah. He did.
Yeah. Got himself a new contract because of it.
Yes, he did.
But a lot of folks still don't take him very seriously, do they? There's a lot of Baker Mayfield jokes. They think he's a clown. They make fun of his ads, this and that. It says here the general manager of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a guy named Jason Licht. He likes to try and keep Baker motivated. Jason Licht, the GM, said, whenever I see an article saying that Mayfield sucks, I send it to him right away because we know that's going to help us in the end. I guess that pumps Mayfield up to really go out there and get her done. Randy Shaver, has all your bad press over the years been a motivator for you?
Yes, it motivated me to retirement after 40 years.
I'm out of here.
Baker Mayfield, though, you got to give the guy credit. He proved a lot of critics wrong last year. I think he signed for kind of like a minimum contract as a quarterback in Tampa and resurrected his career. I think he had been released. I want to say that's what happened to him in Cleveland, but
yeah, nobody wanted him.
He ends up having a very nice year last year for Tampa, and as Brad said, earns himself a brand new contract, and they love him down there. So,
yeah, good for him. Good for him. Oh man! All right, this here is for Dana.
Yeah,
who a couple years ago suddenly decided that not only were the Buffalo Bills going to be his new favorite football team, but that he was also going to go ahead and wear their gear every single day like he's a fourth grader.
This is correct. This is not lied yet.
Do you have any Bill stuff on today?
No Bill stuff on today.
Well, it's a weird day.
Yeah, I know.
Here are some highlights from Defector.com, Why Your Team Sucks, 20 plus 24, the Buffalo Bills edition.
Oh, it's the Bills' turn. Good.
And again, this is about being mean to the team and its fans, this team preview. I have to tell you ahead of time, there's really not much to work with here. This won't take long. It's pretty underwhelming compared to the other Why Your Team Sucks previews.
Well, Drew Masry usually writes these, and it's like he didn't write the Bills edition of it, so I think maybe that's why it's not quite as punched up as it usually is.
Well, yeah, he's the best at it. You're right.
With all due respect to the writer by the name of Victoria Zeller, part of the reason why it didn't really work for me is because she's making references to a team that I don't follow at all. So that obviously comes into play. I don't know what she's talking about. Obviously, she's a very talented lady. I believe it's because she's from Buffalo and has been following them for decades is why she wrote their team preview. She goes after the Bills quarterback, Josh Allen, and compares him to Air Bud.
Well, people do refer to Josh Allen as a golden retriever of a human just because he's just looks like a puppy dog and is always just so happy and enthusiastic.
Dana, we're not going to spend this entire article with you defending everything that this woman says, or what? Not defending.
I knew that was coming.
You know what I'm saying? What word am I looking for? Like correcting or legitimizing?
Right.
How did you choose the Bills? You were disenfranchised as a Vikings fan, and I didn't know you could just switch allegiances.
You're not supposed to.
I never really liked the Vikings growing up, to be honest with you. I never really rooted for them. I watched them because they're always on, but I was never passionate about them whatsoever. And I was unemployed. I was realizing I was in a marriage.
Which time? Just out of curiosity. I know it's happened a lot.
Yeah, sorry. I'll be more specific. The summer of 2020, I was unemployed. I was kind of come to grips with the fact I was in a marriage I didn't want to be in anymore. I was rudderless in life, and I needed something to make me happy. And I landed on the Buffalo Bills, and they kind of got me through a very, very challenging time in my life, and I just fell in love.
Okay, and that's an inspiring story, but I still want to point out that you didn't fall in love with the Carolina Panthers. You didn't fall in love with the Chicago Bears. You didn't fall in love with the Arizona Cardinals. It just happened to be this team that everybody on planet Earth knew was probably going to go to 11 straight AFC championships.
I did, when I was picking a team, I did consciously want a team that was on the rise, and they checked a lot of boxes for me.
Well, that's just not right. All right.
I'll defend you. You didn't want to take home the ugly girl from the bar. You wanted to take home the hot girl from the bar.
Thank you, Brad.
See, Nick and I will take anything.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You'll take the Carolina Panthers home from the bar.
Heck yeah.
I remember a conversation we had once at a house party. We were looking at a couple of gals across the room, and I said, okay, I prefer blondes. What do you think, Cubby? And Josh said, take the blonde, because I'll take anything.
And whatever's there.
So she compares Josh Allen to Air Bud, the football-playing dog. She says he's one of the greatest athletes to ever play the position, but he's also a rocks for brains dullard who listens to Frank Sinatra because he thinks that's what adults do. He forgets which team he's supposed to throw to 3 weeks a year.
Yeah, he really does.
He goes after their fans, Buffalo Bills fans. She notes how everybody says, what a bunch of lovable weirdos. Gotta love those Bills fans. And she says, Victoria Zeller, the author of this article, all I can say is, you don't have to live with these people. The average Bills fan, she says, is a perfectly rectangular Polish dude.
You're kind of built like a rectangle, Dana.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
He rides his Buffalo cultural identity extremely hard. Largely, this one reminds me of Dana, largely expressed via products he does or does not consume. You cover yourself in most days cover yourself in Buffalo Bills merchandise?
I do.
Your average Buffalo Bills fan lives to reply to personalities on social media, desperately hoping he will be plucked out of obscurity to be the third host on Pardon My Take. This is the image that Buffalo projects nationally. But she says, here's what sucks about that. And here's where we are reminded again of Dana. Here's what sucks about Buffalo Bills fans. These people don't live in Buffalo.
That rings a bell, doesn't it?
Yeah, you guys know a guy like that, don't you?
But for a while we knew, too, because James, one of our all-time favorite co-workers, but he was from Buffalo.
Right.
He lived here for a while, so he gets a pass, right?
Of course he does. He friggin' grew up there.
Yeah, that's his hometown.
Yes. Here's what sucks about fake Bills fans like Dana, according to this lady. These people don't live in Buffalo. To people like this, Buffalo is a brand they engage with, not a city that 250,000 people live in. They've successfully abstracted Buffalo as an identity. Dude, this is like, so you.
So you.
Okay, Dana chooses the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Let's say you're in that situation. If you pick growing up in Minnesota, if you pick the Packers or the Lions or somebody in the division, is that worse? Or because I think that's, for me, I'd say, you know what, I'm a Lions fan now, or I'm a Packer fan now.
Is it worse? Yes, because they're in the division, and
so that does make it worse.
Long-time rivalry.
Yeah, so then I'd do it worse. If I was to switch allegiances, I'd do it to a team I can watch a lot.
Sure.
Because you have to probably get a special package, don't you, to watch all the Bills games?
Yeah, I do. Either go to the bar or have the YouTube package as well.
Gotcha.
Bears are going to win the Super Bowl.
You said it a few times now.
Twins, Blue Jays all weekend at Target Field. The ballpark's going to be crawling with drunk Canadians. My prediction for Game 1 tonight is that Pablo Lopez will throw a no-hitter and bounce this club out of the terrible rut that they find themselves in. Twins, Blue Jays. On this,
maybe it'll be on Sunday when I fire in the first pitch on Sunday, and they look up and they say, "Now that's the guy we need for the run in September."
Well, there you go.
Awesome.
Randy is throwing out the first pitch. Are they going to mention your new career? Well, how should I say this? Are they going to mention, because they make you fill out a bio?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I never filled one out.
I think they know who you are, Randy.
It's easily available.
They make you fill out a bio so they can say, here's someone who's done this and this in life. Here's why they're special.
When Dana did it, he was an employee of the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, right. So you really didn't fill one of those out, Randy?
I did not.
Oh, that's
no.
stupid. Because they should mention that your television career is long gone, and you now
I think that's why they invited me. Is that
full-blown member of the 93X Half-Assed Morning
Wonder
Show.
if they will mention 93X over the PA.
I don't know.
I don't even care anymore. On this day in history, on this date, I think is maybe how you say it, Ken Griffey and Ken Griffey Jr. became the first father and son to play on the same baseball team at the same time when they suited up for the Seattle Mariners. I remember seeing that, absolutely.
Yeah.
And on a further father-son note, I thought this was really cute. LeBron James has made it clear that his son, Bronny, is not allowed to call him dad during their first season as teammates with the Los Angeles Lakers.
What's your working relationship? Is he going to call you dad at practice in the locker room?
No, we already laid that. No, he can't. We already laid that down. He cannot call me dad in the workplace. All right. Once we leave out of the private facility and the gates close, I could be dad again. Okay. In the car if we ride together. Okay. At home, I could be dad. No, he got to call me like 2-3 or Brian.
Okay.
Or, GOAT if he wants to. It's up to him. I mean, it's up to him.
That's pretty funny.
That is good.
GOAT.
You can call me GOAT.
Imagine calling your dad GOAT.
LeBron said we cannot be running down the court and he be all like, Dad, I'm open. That's hilarious.
I never thought about that. That would be hard to not do.
Well, Randy Shaver, and I didn't mean to glaze over this. Good luck with your first pitch on Sunday.
Oh, thanks.
Don't skip it like you did in Brownton.
Yeah, I probably will.
I didn't come close, so I'm not worried about it.
I probably won't even walk out to the mound. I'll probably just throw it from the grass.
Now, when you were working with your son on Care 11 News, did he call you Dad in the office, or did he call you Ren Dad?
No, he called me Dad. Sure.
Oh, you didn't have a problem with that?
No, because I'm his dad. So no.
I just thought, like LeBron, in a professional situation, you'd want him to.
No,
Dad,
I mean,
can I?
We didn't have conversations like that where he was like, Dad.
Did you ever have to spank him?
Sorry?
Did you ever have to spank him if he misbehaved at work?
No, not in the workplace. No.
Did he call you goat at work?
Well, he always does.
Okay.
It's old goat.
My dad taught at my high school, and I always called him Mr. Wessel at school. Just kind of more to be funny than anything. It wasn't like it was a hard rule we had.
Wait a minute. What happened now?
My dad taught at my high school, and I went to school.
Oh.
And I'd refer to him as Mr. Wessel.
Well, that must have sucked to have your parent at the school all the time.
Honestly, it didn't bother me at all. If anything, it was more handy than anything. If I wanted to go home, or if I wanted, he'd just write me a note, or if I needed lunch money or something, he'd go help me out.
Oh, I would have hated it. The only time my old man ever made a rule where I wasn't allowed to call him Dad, he dumped that on me right before we walked into a strip joint together in Winnipeg.
Tonight, son, I'm Daddy.
He didn't want me calling him Dad in front of the dancers, so he told me to call him Skippy that night. Skip, or Skip for short. All right, what else is going on around here? If this matters at all to you, we're getting closer and closer to hockey season. Oh, my God. Soon it's going to be cold, and everyone will be playing hockey. You know, it's the state of hockey, you guys.
I've heard that.
Yeah. If this matters at all to you, the Man Bear Pigs will be playing 15 nationally televised games this upcoming hockey season. Some folks still touch themselves when one of our clubs plays on national television. I don't get that.
Yeah,
it's not 1976 anymore. You know, oh my God, we're on ABC.
Right. I mean,
we're on one of the.
Wait till the Wolves. Wait till the Wolves schedule comes out, because that will be how people dissect the Wolves.
Well, I think
schedule.
the Wolves schedule's already out.
Oh, is it? How many? Or did they assign the national TV games already?
Yeah, I think they've got quite a few.
Yeah, opening night and Christmas on national TV.
Yeah, they're on Christmas. Yeah, that schedule's been out, I think.
They like us. They really like us.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what people act like. Oh my God, because we have such a what's the word I'm looking for, Josh? We have such a inferiority complex here in Minnesota that anytime something happens that everyone in America is talking about, whether it be good or bad, we all get a boner because, we're getting some attention from the people in New York and L.A. I hate that we're like that, but a lot of us are like that. We so badly want to be noticed, and it bothers us that we're not, usually. I don't enjoy when the Wolves are on national television for two reasons. If they're on national television, that usually means the game isn't going to start until effing 9 o'clock. And Michael Grady and Jim Peterson are way more enjoyable to hear covering a ball game than any other announcers. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Those guys are just the best. So there you go. And before we get out of here, here's a group of people who might be taking themselves a little too seriously. The Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. Earlier this week, the Panthers unveiled plans for a fancy new design for their ice surface there at their home rink. A new logo at center ice and this and that. Silly stuff that nobody really cares about in the first place. So what? You got a new logo. Oh, you got a couple of new designs in the offensive zones. Who friggin' cares? It can be a blank sheet of ice. Most folks don't care. Apparently, a team employee linked the new rink design online or something like that a couple days ahead of time, and they friggin' fired the guy.
Oh, boy.
Because he spilled that important secret about what the ice sheet was going to look like in the upcoming hockey season.
Who cares?
Exactly. One social media dork said, "It's just a hockey rink. Chill the F out, Florida Panthers." And I agree. But I mean, social media is just so important now. What? He spoiled the secret about our ice surface and the new logo.
It does seem weird that they took it that seriously. Like the dude gets fired.
Does the logo involve them winning the cup? I mean, does it?
I hear that there will be some
on that.
There will be designs on the ice that symbolizes them winning the cup. Yes. Why do you ask? Does that make a difference to you?
No, I'm just curious why they're so tight-lipped about what it's going to look like. I assumed it had something to do with them winning the Stanley Cup.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if it's something they can put on a T-shirt, they're going to sell it. So the reason why they're changing all that is to find a way to monetize it. So
right.
They may have been looking for a reation to dispose of this person anyway.
Well, that's always a possibility. But we got to take it for just what it is right now. And if this guy was simply gassed because he gave away that dopey little supposed secret, that's ridiculous. I saw a couple more people on godless social media say, Jesus balls, you win one Stanley Cup and it goes to your head. So there you go. You guys, Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder, have a wonderful weekend.
I will.
Too.
Don't hurt yourself when you're throwing out that first pitch. Mind me, if you blow out a rotator cuff or something like that, I'll be devastated.
I think I'll manage. I think I'll be fine.
Thanks, Brad Ryder, Randy Shaver.
My granddaughter's going to be there. I've got to at least impress her.
Oh, yeah, you do.
Your granddaughter's going to be there. I'll tell you what, that's the cutest thing I've heard all day. We'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. Have a good Labor Day. We'll talk to you on
Tuesday.
Okay.
You too.
Yeah.
Text us your questions or concerns about your beloved house pet. The number is 651-989-9393. Veterinarian Dr. Andrea Johnston joins us next on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Did you know that Standard Heating opened its doors over 90 years ago? That's right. Tony Ferreira opened the doors in 1930, now ran by his granddaughter Claire Ferreira. Call Standard Heating and Air Conditioning today and experience the customer service and care that holds true today.
It is savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals that can save you thousands. Visit standardheating.com for all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.
When you have sports mixed with your pop culture, along with humor and celebrity interviews, your earbuds are enjoying The Rich Eisen Show.
Good to see you, Bruce Feldman, the Big 12 landscape. I just know how Dion is, where he's coming from. His wins are measured differently. The question is, as you said, it's got to go from 4 to 8.
I think they can do that. It would be hard not to get better considering how bad they were on the offensive line last year. Now, their schedule actually feels harder this year than it was last year.
Search for The Rich Eisen Show on YouTube or wherever you listen.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Welcome back to the show. It's 8:24. Our guest this morning here in studio, Dr. Andrea Johnston from Gorman Animal Hospital.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hi.
In Minnetonka. Yes, good morning, Dr. Andrea. Hey, Josh, guess who's going to the fair?
No way.
Yeah.
Dr. Andrea, you're going too?
Well, she's not going to hang out with us. You know, we're going to be there.
Well, no, we can hang out with her.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, we were supposed to be at the booth 10 to noon. I guess that's not going to happen.
Off air, Dr. Andrea said that, she's going to visit the fair today.
Yeah,
Of course, we're going to be at our little boothy booth from 10 to noon. I asked her to stop by, and she said maybe.
I'll be there. I'll stop by. It'll be fun.
We appreciate that. Dr. Andrea, thanks for your time again. Listeners, brother and sisterhood, go ahead and text in your questions for Dr. Andrea about your pet's well-being, 651-989-9393. I'm telling you, you're going to go ahead and break our text machine. You're eventually going to break our text machine.
This is crazy.
It is.
Yeah.
But we love our pets. Before we get to the questions for Dr. Andrea, how's everything going? Everything's good. I understand you just got back from a nice vacation.
Yeah, we were up in Voyageurs National Park. It's beautiful up there.
Oh, I love it up there.
I've always wanted to go.
Yeah, on a houseboat. Caught some fish.
No way.
The weather was amazing up there compared to down here from what I hear.
You didn't get the nasty thunderstorms up there?
Crazy heat? Did you get the crazy heat?
Yeah, it was like 85 one day and then 65 the next.
All right, let's try to take it easy on Dr. Andrea. She's fresh off a vacation.
Yeah, please.
But we can start here with a text message about a pet cat that had to have a back leg taken off due to a very bad break. Took it off at the hip. And this listener is looking for your thoughts on prosthetics to help the kitty get around. I imagine that's some pretty expensive stuff.
Yeah, I'm not even sure if it's really a thing yet, honestly, but cats do amazingly well with 3 legs, just like dogs, especially a back leg. They bear more weight on their fronts, and especially if that leg was painful, taking that leg off probably resolved all the pain.
Mm-hmm.
I would keep your cat 3-legged, honestly.
Cat's going to get buff in the front.
Yeah. They're pretty agile. They'll do well with 3 legs.
Yeah, I think most 3-legged dogs and cats I've seen in my life, they don't look to be addled at all.
No. I mean, they're probably not using that leg in the first place, so by removing it, you're removing the pain, and they're just feeling better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This person says, on the first day of school this week, crazy day in our household, our Great Dane ate my breakfast on the table. Unfortunately, this included 2 Sudafed and an omelet which had onions in it. We called poison control, told probably he'll be fine given his size, but they're wondering, is that the person to call?
Yeah, poison control is great. Anytime your pet eats anything, there is a local poison control you can call if you have questions, because you would be surprised the things that actually are toxic to animals.
Mm-hmm.
Lilies and cats. We have dogs eating Tylenol, chocolate. Honestly, chocolate is probably the least concerning thing I see. It's usually the other stuff they get into. We see a lot of THC, CBD stuff these days.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the gummies, certainly. And
Have you had to treat an overdosed?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. You can tell the minute they walk in.
Where they got a joint in their mouth and they're
playing
some
Bob
reggae.
Marley.
They're strumming a guitar. And wow, so you've had to treat dogs who have OD'd on the gummies.
Yeah, it's pretty classic when they come in. I mean, their symptoms are their heart rate's really slow and they are really gorked, really out of it.
Do they get the munchies?
Ride the wave. They just ride the wave.
Yeah, do they end up eating nachos and burritos? And
Can you imagine how confused they must be?
Well, yeah.
Probably think they're dying.
Yeah. They come out of it.
You got to keep that stuff on a top shelf, for God's sake. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think my last one was a golf bag. The dog got into the golf bag and a bunch of gummies in there.
Oh, my God. Is that what those golfers are doing out there, getting high?
Heck yeah.
I've seen a couple.
And wait a minute.
You've probably been one.
Yeah, ditto.
Who's putting Sudafed in their omelet?
Well, I wonder if it's just on the table.
Like on the plate or something.
Yeah.
Sorry.
When I first read that, I thought the same thing. Like, can I get a ham, cheese, and Sudafed omelet?
Yeah.
Boy,
they're just crushing it up and putting it on top of the omelet.
I got a hell of a headache, but I don't want to do it the old-fashioned way with a glass of water. I'm going to put it in with my cheese and sausage.
Or maybe like... you know how like you put like a pill in some cheese for your dog?
Yes.
Maybe they're hiding it for someone.
Yeah,
That's
probably.
not powdered sugar on those pancakes.
I mean, in all honesty, though, I'd be more worried about the onions than the Sudafed.
I'd never heard that. So onions are bad for dogs?
Yeah, onions, grapes, raisins, those are all toxic and can cause some pretty severe acute kidney failure. So I mean, at minimum, I'd have that dog's blood work checked out.
Wow.
And it really
I had no
oftentimes doesn't matter the size of the dog. You could have a 5-pound dog eat a box of raisins and do fine, and you could have a 150-pound dog eat 2 raisins and go into kidney failure.
My dog that's like actively trying to kill herself at every turn, she ate a half of an onion not too long ago, and I just stared at her and I was like, why do you want to die so bad?
Can you give us that list
Tastes
again? What was that list again?
Well, there's plenty, but grapes, onions, raisins for sure. Those are big ones. Xylitol gum, so all that sugar-free gum, that's a big issue too.
Isn't garlic bad for dogs
Garlic,
too?
Yep, garlic. It's not good.
And vampires.
And vampires, yeah.
This person says, my dog has extremely red eyes, which look like allergies, but also there's a green discharge out of his nose, which crusts up. It's been happening for 3 years, has tons of energy, and is otherwise fine. What do you think?
Well, I mean, it could be allergies, but I don't like the green discharge from the nose. So there may be something going on between the nose and the eyes in terms of an infection. There could be something in there. Sometimes they'll get fungal infections or bacterial infections, or they'll sniff a piece of grass up the nose and it will cause an infection. For sure, I would get that checked out.
All right. Along the nose line, Building Loading Jesus said, my 3-year-old male German Shepherd constantly has a dry nose, looks cracked, sometimes a little blood. He'll lick off any ointment we put on it, drinks plenty of water. Is there any reason he would have that issue with his nose?
Yeah, so a couple things. If it's an older dog, we'll see that a lot where the top of the nose or even the paw pads, kind of like the heel of a person where it gets cracked. That skin gets really dry. There's something called nose butter you can buy on Amazon that works really well. But I'd also want to make sure it wasn't some autoimmune thing. You might want to have that top of the nose biopsy just to make sure it doesn't need a course of steroids.
Dr. Andrea Johnston from German Animal Hospital sitting in studio here with us this morning, taking questions about your pets, concerns, and such. Dew claws, I think, might have been something we've covered with you in the past, but for folks who are just getting a dose of this gimmick, Dew claws got a new puppy in October. More breeders aren't removing dew claws. The listener says, I thought they were more of a nuisance and should be removed. What are the pros and cons?
Yeah, if you're going to remove them, they usually do it at like 2 to 3 days after birth. Otherwise, they're not a problem unless you have a really active hunting dog or a dog running up north that can catch it on things.
Yeah.
But typically, they're not removing them anymore. The European way is kind of shifting the American way of what we're doing to dogs in terms of like cropping ears, docking tails. They're changing their spay procedures and dew claws too.
Friggin' Europeans. You know what I mean? They're always a problem.
This person says, my 10-year-old cat has been having diarrhea for a couple weeks. Just once a day, she has a loose stool. She eats a variety of grain-free, soft, and dry cat food. Is there any remedy I can try to help her?
I do a couple things. One, I get a fecal checked out, make sure it's not parasites. Not sure if your cat's indoor or outdoor. The other thing is I'd switch to a grain product. They're finding that grain-free foods in dogs or in cats are causing heart disease. So make sure it is a true grain like rice or brown rice.
From dew claws to declawing. Straight up a question from a listener here says, is declawing a cat now illegal?
Certain states, I think Colorado, California, I don't think Minnesota's far behind.
Good.
Why is that?
Well, honestly, it's pretty barbaric, pretty inhumane.
Okay.
You're basically amputating their first digit of all their front feet. And it's painful, and they have a lot of phantom pain after amputating those digits. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually studies out there saying that if you declaw cats, they have a higher rate of peeing outside of the litter box.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're ticked off.
Yeah, I've never been in favor of it.
No. I don't do it. I stopped several years ago. It's yucky.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And why put a cat through that?
Right.
You know.
Yep.
If it's not, you know.
Somebody told me the other day that they know someone whose dog was declawed. I'd never heard of that before.
Oh my God.
Is that?
No. I mean, unless it had to have like a nail bed removed or something from a tumor, but no, we don't declaw dogs.
Yeah, that was news to me.
You ever worked with marine life, Dr. Andrea?
You know, I have a couple frogs at home.
Yeah.
Several fish. Besides that, no, definitely not.
There was a story. Josh, you found this story last night. Some people in Japan were injured by a dolphin. People are wading around in the water, and the dolphin knocked the living hell out of a few people. There were very few survivors. And they say it was because the dolphin was horny.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they get just like animals, they'll get overstimulated.
Normally dolphins really like us, don't they, Josh?
I think so. I guess I don't know, but you hear that they have sexual desires.
Yeah.
This thing just swam up to this beach in Japan, started kicking everybody's ass because there's no women in town.
It's like those whales. Remember, it was knocking those whales. That pod of killer whales was knocking over people's boats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Was that because they were horny?
I think they were mad.
I think it was fishing.
Oh, territorial.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know how some unseemly people will have sex for recreation outside of procreation, like it was intended?
Oh my God! Yes, I've heard of such a thing.
I've heard dolphins like to do it recreationally.
I wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. This person has a elderly Siamese cat who keeps meowing/howling loudly at night about 4 times.
Oh, no.
Can I give her melatonin or something? She's a healthy cat. Can you give a dog?
She must be really cranking it out then if you want to.
Yeah.
I'd get her thyroid check first and foremost. Usually if they start to get more vocal, I think we've talked about thyroid disease in cats before, but definitely get the thyroid checked.
I always thought that maybe a cat would just howl his ass off in the middle of the night because it was instinct or something like that.
I mean, they're nocturnal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but usually if that behavior's changed and it's becoming more vocal, then I'd probably get the cat's thyroid checked.
You ever hear some of that stuff, you guys? Some of you have been cat owners or are currently cat owners. You ever heard a cat when it really gives you its full lung capacity?
Oh, yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It
We've
makes
got a
you-
neighborhood cat that does that.
It sounds like Satan is rising from the, and we're all gonna
Yep. I encourage you guys to go on YouTube and Google mean cats at the vet.
mean cats at the vet.
You would not believe the things we see with cats.
Have you had your ass kicked a few times?
Yeah. I mean, I've had stitches and antibiotics.
Oh, wow.
Many times.
I bet you get cut up all the time.
All the time.
Your hands look like you're an NHL veteran,
Yep, pretty
fighter,
much. Yep.
kind of a thing.
My career of hand modeling.
Yeah, is there a breed of dog or cat or something that you guys are a little extra cautious around because they're known to be aggressive towards vets or whatever?
I mean, there was this fad of exotic breeds and cats, like Bengal cats. Bengal cats, I mean, there can be some nice ones, but the closer they are to the wild, actual cat, feline, unfortunately, they are a little more aggressive.
Are they?
Yeah.
So what's the worst injury you've ever sustained in your career from a patient?
You know, my staff is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So they're really good at handling dogs and cats that are
You
aggressive.
push the staff members in front. Use them as a human
They're
shield.
trained to protect the doctor, but
Yeah.
they are really awesome. I'd probably say that cat bites are the worst.
And
They
you got,
hurt.
Yeah, they do. And you got some stitches along the way.
Yep.
They've got razor blades in their mouth.
They do, and their mouth is filthy.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh.
And a pissed off cat
Oof.
is intimate. I don't care who you are. When they give you that look, like it's you or me,
Yep.
that
We have raptor gloves we have to put on to grab the cats.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no way. Yeah.
and part of the reason why I love cats so much is that they 1 minute can be your friend, and the next minute it's go time.
For sure.
I like how they don't need us so much.
No.
There's something about that. Okay, we were talking about cats yowling in the middle of the night, loud, obnoxious kind of thing. It made me think of a question that I hope we haven't covered before, but again, we see every 2 weeks. I forget things pretty easily. Why, when a siren or something like that, a police car or a fire engine goes by, why does it make some dogs howl and others not?
That's funny you say that because we've got 2 dogs, one does and one doesn't. Yeah,
Are they both Danes?
Yeah, they're both Danes.
Yeah, that's interesting. Usually it kind of depends on the breed. A lot of hound dogs will do that, but a lot of times they'll kind of go along with the tune of the siren.
I always thought that was instinctual too, like howling, like they're.
It might be. I mean, I don't think they're doing it for the sake of like they understand what it is. I think they just go along with it, the tune of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always told that it like hurt their ears or something, so that's why
they're
they
more
did
sensitive than we are for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some annoyance there, and they react to that. But again, like I said, I thought it was going back to the beginning of time with wolves howling at each other. I thought
Probably
it was
not.
Well, yeah.
Do you guys ever join in with your dogs? Sometimes
No.
I join in.
No, I haven't. I don't have a singing voice, though. They don't, like, we have coyotes in the neighborhood, and they never, when those start howling, they don't howl with the coyotes. Well, the one that howls. He just howls when he hears some sort of siren.
And one of the most interesting things I've ever seen, my old buddy Big Al, many years ago, Big Al had a Cocker Spaniel, Ginger Marie. She was just an awesome little dog. Ginger Marie actually became roommates with my Springer Spaniel, Megan Marie, at one point or another. They lived together. It was adorable. My dad used to sing to them when he had time to himself. Anyway, Ginger would howl her ass off when one or the other of these 2 songs would come on MTV. Like a Rock by Bob Seger. She would howl her ass off at Like a Rock by or Vibology by Paula Abdul.
Could you tell, like, was it liking it or disapproving?
No, it was disapproving.
Oh.
But because we were young guys at the time, we'd sit there and watch MTV, and those were the 2 songs that would drive Ginger up a friggin' wall, and I didn't get it.
I mean, they're more instinctual than we think, right? If they don't like the music, they don't like the music.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand. Paula Abdul sucked. But Bob Seger,
Yeah.
how can you react negatively to that guy at all?
I like Paula Abdul. 6-year-old pit bull / German Shepherd here has an allergy to poultry. Is there a spray or something I can put on her skin to help the itching when it gets bad?
Well, I'd switch poultry first and foremost, and I'd go to we call them non-feathered friends. So I would go to like a lamb or a beef, bison. Believe it or not, they make like alligator and rabbit.
Oh, do they really?
Kangaroo for those animals that are super allergic.
Kangaroo even?
Yeah. It's hard to get by. It's hard to find.
But you can get food for your dog that is made of rabbit, kangaroo, and alligator?
Yeah, a lot of the big manufacturers make it. But I would switch food first, and then no spray is going to work because it's a systemic allergy. You might need allergy shots, see a dermatologist, or actually consider oral allergy meds.
Do any of those foods appeal to you? Rabbit, kangaroo, or alligator?
A little too gamey.
Okay.
I had rabbit once, but I was very drunk, so I don't remember what it was like.
Someone served you rabbit when you were drunk?
Yeah.
I've had rabbit, too.
Have you?
It's pretty good.
Well, now you can get one of those 3 foods at the state fair today.
Yep.
Really?
They still have the gator thing, don't they?
Yes, they do, right next to the corn roast.
Yeah, it's still there?
Yep.
How do they make it taste good?
Hot sauce.
Well, I don't know. I never dipped it in anything. I would just eat it dry. I always thought it was pretty good.
I like it.
Kind of fishy tasting. At any rate, if you want to try alligator, then State Fair's a spot to do it.
Eye boogers. My dog always gets eye boogers. Should I be concerned?
A lot of times they'll get it in the morning, just like people. If it's green, if it's increasing, if it's yellow and the eyes are itchy, then I'd have your dog checked out. But a lot of times just wipe them out with a warm washcloth.
And that's it.
Yep.
Who is this now? Here's Queens of the Stone. Oh, forget it. I just did a Ron Burgundy. I thought this was this individual's Jesus or she's name, but it was just informing me that this listener won Queens of the Stone Age tickets a couple months ago.
Congrats.
This listener says her dog howls when the J.G. Wentworth commercial comes on the television.
Oh, that's funny.
Because they sing J.G. Wentworth 877- or something
Cash
like that.
now.
Fleas, Dr. Andrea. Fleas. That's got to be one of the first things you cover in veterinary school.
Yeah, they're
Fleas.
rough.
You know, my dog, it took a while to get one of our dogs because he had heartworm. And I was always, as a kid, I was always told it wasn't really that big a deal, but apparently that was a huge deal. I mean, they had to hold on to him for like 6 months, the rescue, before we were able to take him.
Yeah, it's like 6 months of treatment, these really painful injections, and you have to restrict exercise.
Yeah, they put him in a kennel for 6 months. He couldn't run around, couldn't get his heart rate up.
You don't want those worms migrating and causing an embolism. So it's spread via the mosquito. So a lot of those dogs coming up from the south that weren't given heartworm treatment at the beginning, unfortunately, we see a lot of heartworm disease.
Yeah, I've heard terrible things.
Yeah.
I've heard terrible things.
I had no idea it was that bad.
Yeah.
So fleas, common issue. Your professional opinion, Dr. Andrea, a listener has a cat that's flea-ridden. Tried collars, sprays, some kind of a bath, combing the hair, vacuuming the cat. Can't get rid of them. Do you have any ideas?
So I'd treat the house. I'd make sure the cat's indoors. You might need someone to come out and treat the house or flea bomb the house.
Oh, dude. Remember when Joe Dirt got mixed up with that?
Oh.
That was not good.
Yeah, that was really bad.
He was sitting in the sink and, right? Anyway, sorry, go ahead. You
Never
bombed
saw
the
it.
house.
But if you have a vacuum, like a vacuum with a bag, change off the bag, hot heat for washing the sheets, all of those things.
Oh,
it
it
can
sounds like a
take
nightmare.
Months to get rid of. So using preventative is very beneficial for especially an outdoor cat. I'm guessing the cat's outdoors, and that's how it got it in the first place.
Have you had fleas?
Definitely not.
I mean, I can imagine you're handling these animals all day long.
I mean, we see them all the time.
Yeah.
We do, but...
I had fleas when I was a kid.
Did you really?
Yeah, because of my dog.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was disgusting.
Yeah, they're gross.
I know.
Half-assed morning show 93X.
All right, we're out of here in a matter of minutes. Stop on by the 93X booth if you're headed out to the fairgrounds today. We'll be there from 10 to noon, every damn last one of us. Buy something and then get the hell out. But before we go, Dr. Andrea Johnston from German Animal Hospital is here, and she would love to answer a few more questions from our listening audience, our glorious pet-loving listening audience, texting in about their concerns. Now, I received the text. I'm not exactly sure what they're talking about here, but I'm not a veterinarian. Tell me if this is a true statement, Dr. Andrea. A listener says a male cat can't be 3 different colors without some kind of a condition. Do you have any idea what this person is talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to check my research on that. That's more of a breeding thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 different colors.
I mean, I guess it would make sense in some ways if it's a recessive versus dominant gene.
Okay.
But that's getting into genetics there.
Yeah, you know what? I've always wanted to have one of those cats where one half of their face is completely different than the other. You ever seen one of those?
Oh, yeah, those look cool.
Yeah.
They're very cool looking. I saw one on the internet yesterday. Okay, I wanted to check with you and see what you thought about that statement.
Sped Paraschisis has a 13-year-old lab shepherd beagle mix allergic to grass. We've been giving her APOQUEL, Apoquel.
Yeah.
But when it wears off, she's scratching her ears. I want to try Zesty Paws Allergy Immune Bites. Do you have any patients that use that?
And it sounds delicious.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I do have some patients that have used it. I honestly, if Apoquel isn't cutting it, I'm not sure if the Zesty Paws is going to help. You can always add it in, but it could also induce further allergies if there's an allergen in that.
What a drag. You're a dog and you're allergic to grass?
That stinks.
That sucks. There's dogs that are allergic to people.
Oh, really?
Human dander, just like people are allergic to cat and dog dander.
Okay, anytime a dog does want to say hi to me, I'm just going to assume that's allergic to people.
No, I think it's just a good judge of character.
So how does that affect the dog? It constantly sneezes, has runny eyes, like any typical allergy sufferer?
Usually, well, dogs' allergies are different. So it's usually ears, anal glands, when they're scooting, and then itchy skin. Yeah.
Wow, but they stick it out with us anyway because they love us so much. Yeah.
That anal gland thing, when that's flared, that's quite the smell.
It's not so bad.
Oh, it's pretty bad.
It's not so bad.
You'll remember that smell forever.
Yeah, that'll fill up a house.
Yep.
You want to know when somebody's tough? They've got the dog's anal gland air freshener hanging from their rearview mirror.
Man.
There's only one worse smell than dog anal glands, and I smelled it in vet school.
Wisconsin.
And never again.
What is it?
It's called Pizzle rot. It's actually the smell coming from a male pig's penis.
Is that right?
Pizzle rot.
It is the worst smell I've ever smelled in my life.
It's a condition that a male pig can pick up?
It's like a pheromone. No, it's like a hormone that they secrete.
Lord, have mercy.
It's
yuck.
Horrible.
And it's worse than the anal gland thing, huh?
Way worse.
How did you get through that part of your class work?
Lots of masks.
Masks.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
I know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We should try to work that into our vocabulary, Josh. We should start referring to people around here as pizzle rot.
Yeah, I like that. There he is.
Donnie over there. Pizzle rot nuts. All right.
You picked him up. You dropped him, Jesus. Said, my dog always seems to eat the stuffing out of stuffed animals and her bed. She hacked up a huge hairball last Sunday with puke everywhere. What do I need to be on the lookout for, and why is she doing this?
Well, certain dogs like to chew up things. You might have to redirect with something that's not going to potentially cause an obstruction. So I love the Kongs, like those plastic hard Kongs, fill them with peanut butter.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Freeze them. But I would, it's just a matter of time before that dog maybe having a blockage or a GI obstruction. So.
You know what dog loves those Kong toys filled with peanut butter? The dog that Dr. Andrea called the prettiest of all time.
Gertie girl.
My dog, Gertie.
Yep.
Loves the peanut butter and the Lyme's disease. Oh, no. It's terrible for a dog. A listener's dog just got diagnosed with Lyme's disease. And that's not like a death sentence for a dog, is it?
No, I mean, it can come with long-term side effects, just like people.
Okay.
So dogs can develop something called protein-losing nephropathy or Lyme nephritis, so the kidneys can be affected.
Okay.
That's really the biggest issue, but they can get pretty darn sick from
It's scary.
Yeah,
Scary.
just like people.
So this listener's dog got, Lyme's disease and is now peeing all the time. I got to let her out about every half hour. Is that common when a dog...
I'd check those kidney values.
Okay.
Get a urine sample. Make sure there's no kidney disease from that Lyme disease.
Okay, maybe a little pizzle rot, maybe. Try some pizzle
I'm
rot.
going to regret saying that word.
I'm glad you did. I'm going to use that constantly this weekend. I've already changed 3 friends, their contact information to Pizzle Rock.
That's outstanding.
5-year-old male German Shepherd, plush coat, 100 pounds. Always panting. Is that something to be worried about?
Oh, he's just hot.
Yeah.
He's hot, but I actually recommend never shaving a dog in the summer. That's how they keep cool, is they thermoregulate with their fur.
Really? Okay, so we had a German Shepherd Rottweiler mix, and she loved it when we shaved her. Absolutely loved it. Yeah.
It could be the fact that she was a mixed breed. But a lot of those Nordic breeds, Bernese Mountain Dogs and Greater Swiss, they don't shave them.
Don't shave them. It helps them keep cool.
Yep. Thermoinsulates.
I'll tell you what. You shave down what kind of dog, Josh?
She's one of the best dogs I've ever had. German Shepherd Rottweiler mix.
Feels good. Does she react like
she'd lay out like this is the best. Now, the first time we did it, she looked a little ridiculous, and I had no idea how thin she was because she looked a little chunky.
They look really skinny, don't they?
And it was. We tried to do it once, and it didn't go well. We sucked at it, so a groomer did it, and it looked a little crazy at first, but she loved it. So we would do it every summer.
I bet it does feel good. I mean, you ever had a woman shave your back for you?
No.
Oh, it's nice.
I'm not a hairy person.
No, you're not. You're as hairless as a teenage kid.
Yeah.
Who was the comic that said, let a lady shave your back for you and you'll purr like a kitten? That's a line from
Was
that Family Guy?
And then he does the walrus.
One of my best friends, when we first moved out, we got apartments right next to each other. And then my girlfriend moved in, and that's part of what his routine is. Once a week, she'd shave his back for him because this dude can grow some hair.
What a gig.
Oh, man.
All right, we got to get going. My final question in front of me for Dr. Andrea has to do with, I guess, something or another a listener wants to feed their dog. He says, or she, I recently acquired a bunch of soup bones. They are frozen and about the size of 6-ounce steaks with a leg bone in them. Can I thaw these out and feed them to my dog as raw meat?
Definitely not.
Don't do that.
No, I mean, you're just asking for issues. You're asking for
bacteria,
diarrhea. You're asking for fractured teeth. You're asking for GI upset vomiting. I would avoid that at all costs.
Go buy a bag of dog food, you cheap bastard. It does sound interesting. An interesting question. But yeah, you're asking for trouble, son.
It's crazy the varying prices of dog food. There was one that was recommended to my wife. I can't remember the name of it. King something? I can't remember. But like the difference between the one we get
Burger King?
That's what it was. Yeah, because there was a Whopper, there was onion rings. And it was out of control how expensive some of the stuff. Is there that much of a difference, really?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's marketing. I honestly, the University of Minnesota, UC Davis, USDA is recommending the Big 5: Purina, Iams, Eukanuba, Science Diet, Hills. They're just more well-balanced.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
All right, that is good to know.
Don't break the bank on dog food.
It was twice as much as what we pay, and I felt a little guilty, like, boy, because our dogs go through 80 pounds of food a month.
That's crazy.
Between the two dogs.
Yeah, that's
and so I can't, doubling that every month would be kind of out of control.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't break the bank on it.
Dr. Andrea, you've knocked it out of the park again.
Yeah. We don't deserve you, to be honest.
Not at all.
Nope.
We just don't.
I love it. It's fun.
We appreciate your time. Have fun at the fair today. Stop by and say hello if you can. I know it's a big place, but we'll be there for a couple hours, and we'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Take care. Before we go, again, 10 a.m. to noon, we will be at the Black Box That Rocks, hanging out front. We'd love it if you could stop by. Happy 18th anniversary Monday to Queen Chick 420 Jesus from School Bus and Driving Kai Jesus. Happy 50th birthday to our Hooters buddies, John and Steve. Nick?
What?
Yeah.
It's their birthday?
Tomorrow. They're turning 50. I missed those guys.
Did they text you?
Somebody else texted me to let me know it was their birthday.
My goodness, I should have died a few times hanging out with John and Steve.
Oh, man, they can go.
We used to get her done.
Heck yeah.
And they're turning 50?
50, yep.
That's crazy. They used to run a Hooters here in town.
A few of them.
Few Hooters.
Yeah, my some high school buddies of mine.
I didn't like that part of it.
Well, which part? That we were high school
hanging out at Hooters. I didn't like that part of it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You didn't like that.
But they were nice guys.
It was all the girls, right? You just couldn't. Yeah.
Gross.
I know. Bring me the wings.
Yeah.
Happy birthday weekend. Did you know it's a birthday weekend for Happy Cappy Jesus? Hoping State Fair Bathroom Jesus has an awesome birthday tomorrow. And then happy birthday to Chaos Vortex Jesus.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
It is savings on a stick season with Standard Heating and Air Conditioning's State Fair specials. Deals on deals on deals that can save you thousands. Visit standardheating.com for all their State Fair deals. Standard Heating, providing the comfort you deserve since 1930.